Iya, ambil deh. Air ya.
Assalamualaikum Bapak Ibu. Terima kasih sudah join ya. Pak Wisnu.
Assalamualaikum Bu Rini.
Ya, ini dari Telkom ya Pak Wisnu ya, Telkom Bandung.
Siap.
Terima kasih.
Siap. Paralel ini Bu.
Oh iya. Ada berapa sesi Pak Wisnu?
Oh enggak, ini kelas saja sih.
Oh, ada di kelas juga.
Cuma 1 jam. Sampai jam 2 ini siang ya, sampai jam siang.
Iya, paling ya kurang lebih pukul 12. Semoga sebelum Jumatan ya.
Oke, siap.
Buwit, Sugeng Enjang. Mbak Yeni. Ya.
Assalamualaikum Bapak Ibu, Sugeng Enjang. Welcome to Interdisciplinary Colloquium.
Oke, terima kasih.
Kembali orang beta. Ada buit, ada ini banyak sekali nih, sudah berapa?
Iya. Ada peserta 50-an Pak Ru.
3 dengan saya.
Oke. Mas Handika, Mbak Yulfa, Bapak Ibu ini ada beberapa dari MGMP di provinsi ini Pak Ru.
Bergabung Bapak Ibu dari MGMP. Yang belum S2 silahkan ke YN Salatiga ya. Dengan Bu Rini, Buwit juga.
Pak Saadi, Sugeng Enjang Pak Saadi.
Ustadz Nursikin sudah ready ini. Akan membaca Quran. Andika Yeni, Anissa Fitri, Samsudin. Ya, mungkin juga ada alumni ya tidak hafal.
Pak Henry, gimana kabarnya Pak Henry?
Alhamdulillah Ibu, sudah membaik Ibu.
Sudah fresh ya, Alhamdulillah. Badai sudah berlalu.
Terima kasih resepnya Ibu.
Membaik ya, Alhamdulillah.
Hendri kerah nopo Pak Hendri?
Ini
angin.
Seperti Omikron Pak.
Oh, Omikron.
Kebagian Pak Hendri rupanya.
Didatangi sama Omikron. Tambah antibodi Pak Hendri, insya Allah.
Saya juga lulus dari Omikron.
Oh ya Bu.
Oh, alhamdulillah. Ya, judulnya katanya Hari Gregesi Nasional itu sepertinya.
Cuma katanya lebih ringan ya Bu ya, tidak sampai sesek.
Utamanya tenggorokannya.
Oh,
tenggorokannya sakit sekali.
Kalau yang Delta kemarin kan dengan sesek katanya ya. Ini Ustadz Nursikin sudah fighting nih karena sudah poster nih ya.
Oke.
Poster.
Nggih, Paru. Alhamdulillah, Paru.
Ini di mana? Di Jogja atau salah dicatat?
Saya di belakangnya Pak Runi loh.
Walah, Masya Allah. Aku paling gasek loh.
Gitu ya.
Itu seperapat kayak gini aku.
Iya. Ini ada Mbak Husnia ya, Mbak Isna ya.
Okay, perhaps colleagues from Malay, Bu Rini, ada yang dari Malaysia siapa Bu Rini? Atau
Ini
mungkin dari India juga?
yang saya cari.
Yang dari India siapa kemarin kata Prof Budi itu?
Saya kok namanya belum
Lupa,
hafal
nama.
ya. Iya.
Ini ada Mas Nova yang di MTS, masih di MTS ya?
Masih Bapak, saya
Oh,
masih di
masih.
MTS. Dulu muridnya
Alhamdulillah.
Pak Ruandi tahun 99 saya.
Angkatan ketiga ya,
Ketiga.
anak ketiga
Ya.
ini. Sudah settle sekarang ya. Bentar lagi jadi kepala sekolah ini Mas Nova.
Aduh, belum Pak. Bapak Ruandi sehat, Pak? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Amin.
Sehat.
Yang di MTS siapa saja ya? Mas Nova, terus Mbak siapa itu?
Ya. Saya sama Mbak Farida, Bu Farida itu.
Oh,
Terus,
Mbak Farida.
tapi Mas Abidin adik kelas saya, Pak. Okay.
Abidin itu yang di Al-Azhar ya? Al-Azhar
Dulu ketua CEC tahun 2001-an sekitar itu. Okay, Pak.
Prof Bidi sehat? Ini
Dulu
ada Pak Dr. Suwardi sudah bergabung.
Oh iya, Prof Bidi sudah
Kantor.
gabung di Sukanenjang Prof Bidi.
Selamat pagi Bu Rini juga.
Iya, terima kasih Mas Nova. Prof Bidi masih di mute sepertinya.
Sudah.
Dari pondok, dari dari pondok. Oke.
Penarikan kakak nanti.
Hari ini?
Yang sini.
Oh.
Yang roh ganja.
Jam?
Ya, setengah 10.
Ya, baru mau Quran kan?
Prof Warsi sudah ada? Belum ada?
Dalam?
Prof Warsi.
Oh, beliau ini tadi
Rifki nguji
konfirmasi
kayaknya.
akan gabungnya sebentar lagi gitu.
Oke, sebentar.
Iya, ada Teh Bunga ini dari Universitas Galuh juga. Terima kasih Teh Bunga. Teh? Ada Pak Wisnu juga. Udah gabung. Dari mana lagi nih ya? Selamat pagi Mbak Hoir. Ini dari MGMP SMK Kota Salatiga ya. Mbak Hoir.
Menunggu Prof. Suarsih nih, Prof. Idi.
Selamat pagi Mbak Rini. Assalamualaikum.
Ibu, waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Injil, selamat pagi juga. Sehat ya Ibu?
Alhamdulillah sehat. Maaf ini kameranya agak trouble, baru saya cek, jadi belum bisa setor wajah.
Oh Injil. Injil, matur suwun Ibu. Oke. Ya, ini sudah bergabung juga Mbak Lili yang sedang studi di Aussie ini. Selamat bergabung, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Bu
Gimana
Lini.
kabarnya? Gimana kabarnya Aussie?
Alhamdulillah.
Apa juga Omikron?
Alhamdulillah baik. belum ngampus ini Bu. Besok
belum
Maret,
sempat.
masih Maret.
Orientasinya lama ya? Setengah tahun ada ini.
Nggak ada ini sih, nggak ada kuliah, jadinya terserah.
Oh iya, ambilnya by research ya.
Nggih, nggih.
Semoga sukses, lancar.
Amin, amin. Nggih.
Ini jam berapa kalau di Aussie ini?
Ini jam 12, Bu. Jam 12. Nggih.
Hampir Jumatan
pada
ya?
Jumatan, nggih, betul.
Oh,
Kalau
iya.
di Sydney jam 12, beda lagi kalau di Darwin beda lagi, kalau di Perth beda lagi jamnya. Nah, kalau di sini di Sydney ini pas jam 12 lebih 5 menit.
Oke, Jumatan dulu bapak-bapaknya berarti.
Nggih.
Pripun, Prof? Kita mulai, Prof.
Kita bisa mulai, Prof. Widi?
Sudah 86.
Dimulai aja baru.
Mulai. Oke. Mohon maaf Bapak Ibu, akan segera kita awali. Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, ala nikmatillah. Sayyidina Muhammad ibn Abdillah, la hawla wa la quwata illa billah, amma ba'dah. I'm sorry because I am replaced Pak Rifki, Dr. Rifki today, to be Master of Ceremony as well as moderator. Ya, jadi hari ini kenapa Pak Rifki baru sakit kayaknya, moga-moga tidak terkena Omikron, sehingga saya harus replace beliau.
Thank you, Pak.
Okay. In the name of Allah, the most beneficial and the most merciful, all praises go to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Lord of the universe. The Excellencies, Prof. Widianto as the Director of Postgraduate Program of UN Salatiga, and also Prof. Suarsih Madya from UNY, and also all officials, the Deputy of Director Bu Nur Malikah PhD, Bu Rini, Pak Nur Sikin, and so on. In the starting point, I would like to invite you all to thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because He has given us mercies, a lot of mercies, and one of them is our healthy. In the Holy Quran, there are several verses reminding us that we should thanks to God's mercies And then one of them is in the Holy Quran in Surah Ibrahim, la in syakartum la azidanakum wa in kafartum inna adzabi lasyadid. Yeah, we are reminded by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that we should thank to all His mercies, because if we try to count one by one, it is impossible to so doing. Well, in this opportunity, I am as a master of ceremony as well as moderator. I would like to read some of the agendas of these events. The first one is the opening, followed by menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya, and then after that, Ustadz Dr. Mohnur Sikin is invited to read the Holy Quran. After this, followed by report by the head of Master Program English Department, Ibu Dr. Setiarini MPD, and then welcoming speech by our director, Prof. Widianto, and the next one is dua, praying by Ustadz Dr. Afnam Ibdul Mutahar MSI, and then closing. And after the opening ceremony, we will invite you to listen to the socialization of the rectory stations, and also call or invitations to write down paper in Ajores and come to the main activity, namely Interdisciplinary Colloquium, entitled Internationalizing Islamic Wasatiyah Values in the Method and Instructional Technology of Language Teaching in the Pandemic Era. All right, Bapak Ibu, those are the events or agendas in this today's activity until the midday. To make this program goes on well, I would like to invite you to recite Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. And then the following is singing lagu Indonesia Raya. And for this event, Bu Erna Rizfa Aula MSI is invited to guide to conduct as the conductor of lagu Indonesia Raya anthem. And then to Bapak Ibu, yeah, all of you are pleased to stand in this occasion. Bu Erna Rizfa Ula, the time is yours. Are you ready?
Mas sudah.
And also Mas Huda.
Ya.
Thank you, Bu Rina, and also Mas Huda. And for Bapak Ibu, you are pleased to sit down again. Well, coming to the following agenda is listening to the recitations of the Holy Quran for Bapak Dr. Nur Sikin, MSc. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu taqullaha haqqa tuqatih wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. Wa'tasimu bihablillahi jami'an wa la tafarraqu. واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون. صدق الله العظيم. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Syukran kathiran ila Ustaz Nur Sikin, having recited the Holy Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give more and more blessing to us. The fourth one is report from the head of committee to Ibu Dr. Stiarini MBD, as well as the head of English Department of Postgraduate Program of UN Salatiga. The time is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Wandi, for the time given to me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Excellencies, Director of State Institute for Islamic Studies Salatiga, and the Director of the Postgraduate Program of EIN Salatiga, the Vice Director of the Postgraduate Program of EIN Salatiga, the Professor Dr. Suwarsih Madya from the English Department of Yogyakarta State University, all the lecturers at EIN Salatiga also, and for all distinguished English teachers from around Salatiga, Semarang, Karanganyar, Blora, Magelang, Solo, Bandung, Palembang, Bengkulu, Malaysia, Australia, and also all the students from the English Department from the Magister Program of the State Institute for Islamic Studies Salatiga. Bismillah, Alhamdulillah. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the universe, and blessing and also peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad and his family and companions. I thank to the Almighty God for his grace, his gratitude that has placed me here to serve the State Institute for Islamic Studies Salatiga and this postgraduate program in particular. My thanks go to their excellencies, the director, and the vice director of the postgraduate program, and my colleagues for the facilities and guidance they have provided in order to serve the university. They have ensured the development of and upgrading of their development and their department to its best levels. All right, in this occasion, I would like to welcome you all to the first interdisciplinary colloquium of the English Department of the Postgraduate Program at EIN Salatiga. I am Stiarini. I'm greatly honored to have this opportunity to report to the Director of the Postgraduate Program that Ibu Profesor Suwarsih Madya, PhD, is already here with us to present the topic about internalizing Islamic Wasatiyah values in the language teaching method and instructional technology in the pandemic era. Hopefully, we can collect a wide range of knowledge that reaches beyond our current knowledge in relation with the teaching method in this long-lasting pandemic era from the expert. English teachers actually are encouraged to be much creative in this pandemic era. Thank you very much, Ibu, for your kindness to be here to share your expertise to us. Also, I would like to promote the English Department Magister Program to all the English teachers who are here joining in this session to enroll to the English Department Magister Program in the academic year 2022 and 2023. In that sense, I'm now very happy to be here with the distinguished participants from all around the region today. Thank you, and hopefully there will be very fruitful sessions in this interdisciplinary colloquium. Thank you very much from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Bu Rini. Let me also say hello to the newcomers, because so far there are 128 participants in this opening ceremony. Well, Bapak Ibu, the following agenda is welcoming speech from the Director of Graduate Program, Postgraduate Program of UIN Salatiga, by Professor Dr. Widianto MA, as well as for opening formally this event of interdisciplinary colloquium. Professor Widianto, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min syururi anfusina wa sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudhlil fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh la nabiyya ba'dah. Amma ba'du. Honorable Professor Dr. Suwarsi Madya, also our other distinguished participant of the interdisciplinary colloquium, Honorable also our Vice Director and also the faculty member of our postgraduate program of UIN Salatiga. Ladies and gentlemen, ayuha sadat wa sayyidat, al-hadiruna fi hadil majlis. I think this is such important and interesting occasion for us, and this is inspiring language climate or language environment in which we can share our knowledge from, and we hear also knowledge from Professor Suwarsi Madya. Welcome to our graduate studies, Prof. Suwarsi Madya, and we are looking forward to hearing your presentation, your knowledge pertaining to such hot topic actually. This Islamic moderatism or Wasatiyah Islam, and in this case will be linked to its implementation to in the case of language teaching method and also instructional technology with the context of pandemic era. And that I think and I hope, I do hope that this pandemic will turn down and we will have a new normal life, become endemic, or maybe become post-pandemic age. But we have learned much during the pandemic to be more friendly to the nature, to the ecology, to the climate justice and other. We are not doing justice to the climate, to the environment during several years ago. But starting from pandemic, we have to change our mind, our theology, and also our attitude to the environment. And this case, Wasatiyah Islam or Islamic moderatism, and is new topic and also a hot topic for many part of the world, not only in Indonesia. Indonesia, but also Middle East and also Europe and Africa, and also America. And in the end, also I would like to highlight our new journal, but this is we have to be intern after for a while. Islamic moderatism or religious moderatism when we put in broader perspective can be clustered into many different spheres. We can use and we can apply Islamic religious moderatism as religious culture. We can also apply implement religious moderatism as knowledge culture. Not the problem during the pandemic is, for example, for many kiai, for many ustad, they do not transform their moderatism from religious culture to knowledge culture actually. So they are tolerant, but not appreciative toward knowledge, toward the science and technology development, for example. They believe in that we have to be tolerant, but they do not appreciate, for example, the health protocol which has been laid down by the government. Misalnya, we say in Indonesian, masker itu tidak penting ketika di masjid dan sebagainya. This is one of the incoherence between religious culture and knowledge culture. And the third aspect is knowledge, political culture. We explain next time. And one of the fourth one is linguistic culture. This is one of the pertinent theme with our colloquium. Linguistic culture in the sense of that when someone dealing with the language of their own, with their own language, for example, they bring in their mind some cultural baggage which are originated, for example, from belief, from prejudice, from myth, also from other assumption in the mind. This is linguistic culture. And we are dealing also religious moderatism as school culture, not only because education not only in classroom but also in corridor. So there are some important book in sociology of education, school and classroom and corridor. So classroom and its social environment. This is one just to highlight what we are dealing with our colloquium today, and Professor Sosialisasi is the expert. And although we are living in the age of post-truth, we hope that the expertise is not declining, not the death of expertise, matinya kebakaran. And therefore, we are inviting our expert today, Professor Sosialisasi Madya. And we hope that we can hear many knowledge sharing from her with a kind of knowledge shopping from us. From her is knowledge sharing, but for us is knowledge shopping. And knowledge shopping and is to be equivalent with knowledge sharing. There are, for example, input in Indonesian ya. Input harus selaras dengan output. Input is knowledge shopping, and output is knowledge sharing. So also we are as scholar, as a student, as lecturer, faculty member, have to be in mind with this the balance between knowledge sharing and knowledge shopping. This is also moderation. Wasatiyah. Sometimes when some of us are not only concerned with knowledge sharing, and not concerned with knowledge shopping will be lack of knowledge. They give to others, to students, many knowledge, but the limited sense of knowledge, because they do not carry out the knowledge shopping. And Mas Edi Cahyono, please prepare our journal, Mas Edi Cahyono. Yeah, and I would like also to introduce our new journal, Indonesian Journal of Religion, Spirituality, and Humanity. This is a new journal which is committed to the study of humanity, religion, spirituality, and humanity. So these three notion or three aspects are not dealt in spirit way, but rather as a packet. So there is an intricate relationship between religion, spirituality, and humanity. Religion and spirituality is not for God alone, but actually for the betterment of human being. Lima solihil ummah, lima solihin nas, or maybe lima suni alam, for the betterment of nature, for the betterment of nature. And I think that this is such a new direction of journal, which sometimes some other journal tend to be more specific, but this is much broader, because this is multi-disciplinary journal, and this is also has a direction in the sense of argument, because some journal only studied religion for spirituality from its defined aspect, its divinity, sebagai sebuah keilahian, sisi ilahinya saja, tanpa without considering that religion and spirituality is for the betterment of humanity. So humanity aspect of religion and spirituality. Jadi we say in Indonesian, for example, agama itu sebenarnya bukan untuk Tuhan, agama itu untuk manusia, untuk kemaslahatan manusia, bahkan untuk kemaslahatan alam. This is one of the argument of our journal. And the next one, please, Mas Adi. This is the focus of our journal. That although it is a newborn journal, it is envisioned to be international journal, since we have in mind that Wissenschaft or knowledge, Wissenschaft in German, is internationally undertaking. Jadi keilmuan itu adalah sebuah enterprise yang sifatnya internasional, and we believe that this journal could be a new contribution to the realm of religion, spirituality, and humanity. I think that this is in the sociology of religion, also anthropology of religion, also philosophy of religion, and this invite contribution mainly in English. In English. Next one, Mas Edi. Next one, Mas Edi. This is our editor. This is our editorial report from 5 continent. The next one, Mas Edi. I hope that many of you are interested in submitting paper in this journal, and yeah, we are dealing with editorial report from English-speaking countries, also German-speaking countries, also Arabic, because we are maintaining and building a network with many parts of the world, and we believe that that language makes us more comfortable to build a network with many different parts of the world. I see that in Pak Handung office last year, I think 2016, I think. There are another Guillaume from Ludwig Wittgenstein, Swiss German philosopher. The limits of my language are the limit of my word. In German, we say die Grenzen meiner Sprache sind die Grenzen meiner Welt. Dunyan al-wasi'ah halal kudratin alal lughah al-wasi'ah. So this is one of the important thing when we are dealing with language, also with religion, spirituality, and humanity. I hope that this colloquium, also socialization of our graduate program, especially TBI, that is Bahasa Inggris, will become successful. And I appreciated the chairman of the program, Dr. Stiarini, for this effort and venture. Herewith, I officially open our colloquium with reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Many thanks for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Pak Dir, having been given a welcoming speech as well as officially formally opening this event. Well, the last but not least, I mean, for the opening program is doa, which will be given by Dr. Ahmad Mifdal Mutahar, MSc. Monggo, Pak Mifdal, waktu disilakan. Pak Mifdal, apa sudah ada?
Ada kok, baru ada. Kok masih di unmute ya beliau?
Oke, Pak Mifdal, monggo dipun mute, Pak Mifdal. Belum kedengaran, Pak Mifdal.
Halo, halo.
Oke, monggo sambut. Sudah kedengaran. Monggo Ustaz.
Doa nggih.
Nggih, doa.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim wa tub alaina innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Rabbana ighfir lana wa li ikhwanina alladhina sabaquna bil iman wa la taj'al fi qulubina ghillan lil ladzina amanu rabbana innaka ra'ufur rahim. Allahumma la tada' lana dhanban illa ghafartah wa la 'aiban illa satartah wa la hamman illa farajtah wa la daynan illa qadaitah wa la maridan illa shafaitah wa la hajatan min hawaijid dunya wal akhirati illa qadaitaha wa yassartaha ya rabbal alamin. Rabbana zulamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Rabbana ighfir lana wa li ikhwanina alladhina sabaquna bil iman wa la taj'al fi qulubina ghillan lil ladzina amanu rabbana innaka ra'ufur rahim. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa ja'al tafarruquna min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'sum. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, syukran matur nuwun Ustaz Dr. Ahmad Mifdal Mutahar for your dua in this opening ceremony. So by the last session dua means that the opening ceremony for interdisciplinary colloquium entitled Internalizing Islamic Wasatiyah Values in the Method and Instructional Technology of Language Teaching in the Pandemic Era has been finished. Thank you very much for your attention and participation. Again, welcome and thank you very much to the newcomers. Ya, so far 157 peserta yang sudah ada di space ini. Well, to end this opening ceremony, let us recite Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Yeah, because I am still staying here as the moderator, so I would like to continue to the following program, namely the socializations of the new enrollment, especially for the master degree program magister untuk jurusan tadris bahasa Inggris. And of course, it doesn't mean that we do not pay attention to the other programs, because we have several programs, including postgraduate, majoring in Islamic education for the participants. Because so far we have 6 study program, ada tadris bahasa Inggris master, and then pendidikan agama Islam magister, and then pendidikan guru madrasah ibtidaiyah, lalu ada hukum keluarga Islam dan ekonomi syariah. Those for the master degree, and one for the postgraduate program, namanya pendidikan agama Islam. And then this year is the second batch for the enrollment. All right, Bapak Ibu, for what's that? The next informations, Bu Setia Rini will handle what's that for the socialization. Oke, Bu Rini, ya, waktu disilahkan, monggo.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Dr. Wandi MA. Bapak Ibu, mohon izin ya untuk kesempatan pagi hari ini saya meminta waktu kepada Bapak Ibu semua untuk sebelum sesi inti, yaitu Interdisciplinary Colloquium yang bakal dipresentasikan oleh beliau Ibu Profesor Suarsih Madya MA PhD, saya akan menayangkan slide terkait dengan program sosialisasi di prodi baru kami. Prodi baru kami ini masih baru, jadi kami juga akan memperkenalkan kepada Bapak Ibu semua, dan kami saatnya untuk melaksanakan PMB, dan kami mohon Bapak Ibu untuk berkenan untuk menyimak, semoga juga akan tertarik belajar atau bergabung dengan pasca sarjana kami. Baik Bapak Ibu, perkenankan kami untuk menayangkan slide. Oke. Jadi kami sudah beroperasi, sudah menjelang semester kedua ya Bapak Ibu, dan ini sedang tahap masuki perkuliahan perdana. Bapak Ibu, yang akan kami sampaikan di sini adalah mohon maaf. Kami memiliki profil lulusan yaitu Magister Pendidikan yang memiliki sikap, keterampilan, pengetahuan, dan keahlian dan kemampuan manajerial sebagai, sebagai akademisi dalam bidang pendidikan bahasa Inggris, berlandaskan ajaran dan etika keislaman, keilmuan, dan keahlian. Untuk yang pertama adalah akademisi Bapak Ibu ya, profil lulusan kami. Untuk profil lulusan yang kedua adalah peneliti, yaitu Magister Pendidikan yang memiliki kemampuan merencanakan, melaksanakan, dan mempublikasikan serta mengelola hasil penelitian dalam bidang tadris bahasa Inggris yang sesuai dengan perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan mutakhir, berlandaskan ajaran dan etika keislaman, keilmuan, dan keahlian. Untuk profil lulusan yang ketiga, Bapak Ibu, yaitu sebagai pengembang. Magister Pendidikan yang memiliki kemampuan dalam mendesain dan mengembangkan sumber belajar bahasa Inggris, berlandaskan ajaran dan etika keislaman, keilmuan, dan keahlian. Bapak Ibu, visi kami sebagai sebuah prodi yaitu pada tahun 2030 akan menjadi program Magister Tadris Bahasa Inggris yang unggul dalam pengembangan pendidikan bahasa Inggris berbasis riset dan teknologi, serta nilai-nilai keislaman dan keindonesiaan dalam rangka mewujudkan masyarakat damai bermartabat. Untuk misi kami di Prodi Tadris Bahasa Inggris program Magister ini, menyelenggarakan Prodi Magister Tadris Bahasa Inggris yang unggul dalam pengembangan pendidikan bahasa Inggris berbasis riset dan teknologi melalui proses pembelajaran yang efektif dan efisien, serta mengembangkan ilmu pengetahuan dan mutu praksis tadris bahasa Inggris melalui kegiatan penelitian, pengabdian, dan partisipasi aktif dalam forum dan publikasi ilmiah pada tingkat nasional dan internasional. Untuk selanjutnya, membangun kerjasama pada bidang pendidikan dan pembelajaran dalam bidang tadris bahasa Inggris dengan lembaga pendidikan dan instansi lain di dalam dan di luar negeri. Tujuan dari prodi kami, Bapak Ibu, menghasilkan pendidik yang profesional dalam bahasa Inggris yang unggul dalam pengembangan pendidikan bahasa Inggris berbasis riset dan teknologi melalui proses pembelajaran yang efektif dan efisien. Berikutnya adalah menghasilkan pendidik yang profesional dan mampu mengembangkan ilmu pengetahuan dan mutu praksis tadris bahasa Inggris melalui kegiatan penelitian, pengabdian, dan partisipasi aktif dalam forum dan publikasi ilmiah pada tingkat nasional dan internasional. Yang berikutnya Bapak Ibu, menghasilkan pendidik yang mampu menjalin jejaring kerjasama di bidang tadris bahasa Inggris dengan lembaga pendidikan dan instansi lain di dalam dan luar negeri. Sedang strategi yang akan kami lakukan Bapak Ibu, yang pertama adalah menyelenggarakan perkuliahan pendidikan bahasa Inggris dan kebahasaan selama 16 kali pertemuan di tiap semester secara berturut-turut selama 3 semester. Kami juga berupaya untuk mengirimkan mahasiswa dalam kegiatan tingkat regional, nasional maupun internasional, seperti dalam kegiatan seminar, workshop maupun short course. Yang ketiga Bapak Ibu, strategi yang kami lakukan adalah melibatkan mahasiswa dalam kegiatan penelitian di bidang pendidikan bahasa Inggris dan bidang kebahasaan. Dan yang keempat, memberikan kesempatan kepada mahasiswa untuk mengikuti lomba karya ilmiah, seminar, dan penelitian baik regional, nasional, maupun internasional. Bapak Ibu, karena kami akan promote, maka akan kami sampaikan keunggulan dari program Pascasarjana IAIN Salatiga. Bahwa kami memiliki pengajar kompeten dengan jumlah guru besar Bapak Ibu, paling banyak di PTKI se-Jawa Tengah. Kami memiliki guru besar atau profesor dan lulusan tetap yang memadai itu ada 11 profesor dan 60 doktor yang lulus dari dalam maupun dari luar negeri. Kami juga memiliki jurnal internasional terindeks Simago peringkat Q1, yaitu Indonesian Journal of Islam and Muslim Societies. Serta kami memiliki Annual International Conference on Islam and Muslim Societies atau ICONIS. Baik, Bapak Ibu, pendaftaran untuk seleksi mahasiswa baru kami itu terbagi menjadi 2 gelombang ya. Yang gelombang pertama itu kami buka pada bulan Januari sampai dengan bulan April tahun 2022. Ujian akan dilaksanakan pada tanggal 18 sampai dengan 19 Mei 2022. Dan untuk gelombang yang kedua, kami buka untuk bulan Mei sampai dengan Juli 2022. Sedangkan untuk ujiannya akan kami laksanakan pada tanggal 10 sampai dengan 11 Agustus 2022. Selanjutnya Bapak Ibu, materi untuk ujian seleksi ada 2 jenis Bapak Ibu. Yang pertama ujian tertulis, yang kedua ujian wawancara. Yang ujian tertulis mencakup pengetahuan umum dan pengetahuan agama. Kemudian juga diikuti kepada tes potensi akademik. Untuk yang wawancara ada bahasa Arab dan bahasa Inggris. Namun yang lebih fokus nanti karena ini program TBI juga kompetensi bahasa Inggris akan kami prioritaskan. Dan kami sampaikan Bapak Ibu, biaya kuliah kami ini terjangkau ya untuk mendapatkan perkuliahan magister di IAIN Salatiga. SPP di semester 1, 2, 3, dan 4 itu 2.500.000, jadi Rp1.000 ya, jadi amat sangat terjangkau Bapak Ibu. Kemudian ada tambahan biaya itu hanya di semester 1, itu mencakup untuk pengembangan, matrikulasi, dan perpustakaan itu dibebani biaya sejumlah Rp2.075.000. Kemudian pada semester 4, Bapak Ibu nanti kalau sudah terlibat di kami, bergabung di kami, akan dibebani untuk biaya ujian tesis itu Rp2 juta, serta biaya wisuda Rp1 juta. Dan ini sebagai catatan bahwa jika ada waktu semester tunggu, yaitu apabila mencapai setelah semester 4 atau sekedar mengambil mata kuliah tesis, itu hanya mendapatkan beban Rp1.250.000 per semester. Baiklah Bapak Ibu, jika berkenan untuk mendaftar, mohon diperhatikan syarat pendaftarannya. Monggo ini dicatat bahwa pendaftaran dilaksanakan secara online ke link pmb.pasca.iainsalatiga.ac.id. Bapak Ibu dikenakan biaya sebesar Rp250.000 untuk pendaftaran. Kemudian yang perlu disertakan adalah ijazah dan transkrip nilai S1. Kemudian Bapak Ibu juga menyerahkan sertifikat akreditasi program studi. Untuk selanjutnya juga dimohon untuk menyerahkan surat rekomendasi dari pimpinan tempat Bapak Ibu bekerja ataupun bisa dari dosen perguruan tinggi asal Bapak Ibu waktu S1. Dan apabila Bapak Ibu di S1 atau di transkripnya memiliki IPK lebih dari 3,4, maka bisa bebas ujian seleksi untuk calon mahasiswa. Selanjutnya Bapak Ibu, kami memiliki masa studi itu 4 semester. Di sini diselenggarakan dalam waktu kurang lebih 2 tahun. Kemudian karena program pasca sarjana ini kebanyakan mahasiswa adalah dari para guru, maka kami pilihkan hari perkuliahan adalah hari Jumat dan Sabtu, sehingga bisa diikuti oleh Bapak Ibu seusai melaksanakan tugas mengajar di instansi Bapak dan Ibu. Nah Bapak Ibu, akan kami sampaikan informasi terkait dosen yang ada di program studi Magister S2 TBI IAIN Salatiga. Ya, kami ada dosen DT PS dan dosen home base. Yang pertama ada Profesor Dr. Phil Widianto MA, Bapak Direktur program pasca sarjana kami. Ada Ibu Nur Malihah PhD, beliau alumni Lancaster di UK. Beliau sekarang menjadi wakil direktur di program pasca sarjana ini. Kemudian saya sendiri Bapak Ibu, kebetulan saya diberikan amanah untuk menjadi ketua program studinya. Selanjutnya ada Bapak Hamam PhD, beliau alumni dari University di India, ya. Kemudian berikutnya ada Bapak Dr. Hanung Trioko MID, beliau alumni dari Australia dan UGM. Kemudian ada Bapak Dr. Rifki Aulia Erlangga, alumni dari Undip dan UNES. Selanjutnya ada Bapak Dr. Wandi MA. Beliau ini alumni dari UNY, jadi satu alma mater dengan Ibu Profesor Dr. Suarsih Madya. PhD maksud saya. Kemudian ada Bapak Nurwanto PhD, beliau alumni dari Lancaster, dari University di UK juga. Kemudian ada Ibu Dr. Maslihatul Umami yang alumni dari UNES. Itu Bapak Ibu. Nah, kami memiliki program unggulan, yaitu beasiswa bagi lulusan terbaik S1 yang alumni IAIN Salatiga. Kemudian kita juga punya program academic writing. Kemudian juga ada National and International Seminar. Kemudian kita memiliki National and International Colloquium. Kemudian kita memiliki jurnal IJIMS yang terindeks Scopus Q1. Serta ada program sandwich ke luar negeri. Serta juga ada beasiswa dari LPDP yang kami belum cantumkan, mohon maaf. Ini sekali lagi ya Bapak Ibu, link yang bisa Bapak Ibu catat. Monggo, kami tunggu partisipasi ataupun Bapak Ibu untuk bergabung di IAIN Salatiga yang mana lokasinya dekat dengan lokasi Bapak Ibu bekerja, yaitu di pmb.pasca.iainsalatiga.ac.id. Bisa juga berkomunikasi dengan Bapak Edi Koswanto MPD dengan nomor 085835336109 atau dengan Ibu Lili Oktariani yaitu 085640035197. Bapak Ibu, ini gambaran kampus kami, kampus 3 IAIN Salatiga yang berada di Jalan Lingkar Salatiga, daerah Pulutan, Sidoarjo, Salatiga. Kemudian ini gambar-gambar pengelola program Pasca Sarjana, ya ada Pak Dir, ada Pak Ruandi, ada Prof. Budiono, ada Ibu Normaliha PhD, ada Pak Dr. Mifdol, ada Ibu Dr. Maslihah, dan saya sendiri. Bapak Ibu, program studi kami karena di bawah PT KIN mendapatkan gelar yang sama juga dengan yang dari PTU, dan prodi kami ada 6 prodi ya. Yang pertama itu kalau yang di PAI yang sudah terakreditasi A gelarnya MPD. Kemudian PGMI Pendidikan Guru Madrasah Ibtidaiyah juga terakreditasi B gelarnya MPD. Kemudian Ekonomi Syariah atau ES itu gelarnya ME terakreditasi B. Ada juga Hukum Keluarga Islam itu gelarnya MH. Kemudian Tadris Bahasa Inggris TBI gelarnya MPD. Kemudian ada juga program Doktor S3 PAI gelarnya Doktor. Nah, 3 prodi baru kami ini sedang dalam proses untuk mengajukan akreditasi Bapak Ibu. Dan sebelum mengakhiri sesi ini akan saya bacakan pantun untuk calon mahasiswa dan Bapak Ibu semua. Ini karya dari Bapak Dr. Muhnur Sikin dan saya akan membacakan untuk Bapak Ibu semua. Sungguh kuat kayu gaharu, paling cocok dibuat papan. Selamat datang calon mahasiswa baru di kampus unggul membangun peradaban. Jarum jatuh ke jerami, kain songket di dalam peti. Kami tunggu di kampus kami, akan disambut dengan senang hati. Demikian pantun kami Bapak Ibu, semoga berkenan. Dan saya rasa cukup. Terima kasih, waktu dan tempat saya kembalikan kepada Bapak Dr. Ruandi, selaku MC sekaligus menjadi moderator untuk acaraku Interdisciplinary Colloquium di TBI S2 IAIN Salatiga. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Matunun Bu Rini, having given information concerning the 6 study program. Jadi saya ingatkan lagi Bapak Ibu sekalian, kami menyambut baik kelak apabila Bapak Ibu dapat bergabung bersama dengan kami di beberapa program studi yang tadi sudah disampaikan. Yang pertama, and then the following, previously Pak Dir have given information concerning one of our journal, yakni Ijores, dan it is very possible that English teacher able to join in this journal karena cakupannya yang sangat luas. Tadi ada 12 cakupan ya. Salah satunya adalah religious education begitu. Ya, dan nanti sesudah presentasi dari guru saya ya Prof. Suarse, saya kira nanti akan lebih terbuka lagi berkenaan dengan tema-tema yang berkaitan dengan Ejores. And then also the last information, and I think this is necessary that insyaallah in the next April IAIN Salatiga akan bertransformasi menjadi UIN insyaallah, jadi Universitas Negeri Islam Negeri Salatiga, sehingga ke depan lembaga kami akan semakin bisa banyak berbuat untuk kemajuan bangsa dan negara. Well, again, thank you very much to Bu Dr. Setia Rini having given information concerning the new student enrollment, especially in the academic calendar 2022-2023. And so far, we have been in the second year, ya, especially for the new program, yakni untuk program studi pendidikan bahasa Inggris atau TBI, kemudian hukum keluarga Islam dan juga S3 pendidikan agama Islam. Well, now I would like to continue to the following agenda, namely the Interdisciplinary Colloquium entitled Internalizing Islamic Wasatiyah Values in the Method and Instructional Technology of Language Teaching in the Pandemic Era. But to make sure, Nun Sewu Bu Suarse sudah bergabung lagi. Oh, Bu Suarse, ini guru saya di UNY. Saya salah satu alumni dari perguruan tinggi besar ini. Jadi mungkin Bu Suarse tidak hafal saya, tapi saya hafal guru saya. But it doesn't matter. Okay, in my point of view, this colloquium is very, very important, and I have at least 3 reasons. The first one is we should be aware that Indonesia is multicultural country, multi-religious country, multi-ethnic country, and so on and so on. Kita memiliki lebih dari 500 bahasa sepertinya ya kalau kita lacak betul dari sisi bahasa. And then also there are also several religions, ya, Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, ya, dan yang lain-lain, belum suku bangsa begitu. So this is the first reason. Jadi kenapa internalisasi nilai-nilai Islam yang bersifat wasatiyah moderat tadi said by Pak Direktur is very important in the midst of different cultures, different ethnicities, different religious background, begitu menjadi sangat penting. Alasan yang pertama begitu. And then the following reason is that I think as a Muslim there are a lot of verses in the Holy Quran. Salah satu yang saya ingat misalnya ada di dalam surah Al-Baqarah ayat 143. Di sana dikatakan wa kadzalika ja'alnakum ummatan wasaton begitu. Jadi kalian diciptakan sebagai umat pertengahan begitu. Litakunu syuhada 'alan nas wa yakuna rasulu alaikum syahida. Begitu salah satu dari the Holy Quran verse. And also Muslim especially have privilege position here sebagai kuntum khaira ummah ukhrijat linnas ta'muru bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. Itu di antara beberapa ayat suci Al-Quran dan tentu di dalam hadis sangat banyak sekali. Salah satunya misalnya disebutkan khairin nas anfa'ukum linnas. Jadi orang yang baik adalah orang yang bermanfaat bagi orang lain begitu. Sehingga I think this is very crucial to internalize and also to revitalize, because the Holy Quran is not only the normative guidance, ya tidak hanya berhenti sampai ayat, tapi hendaknya menjadi pedoman dalam kehidupan sehari-hari. And then if I put the Holy Quran in the second platform, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that realitas sosial seperti tadi multicultural, multi-religious itu lebih penting daripada ayat Quran. Bukan seperti itu, tetapi kita paham dan tahu that Allah Subhanahu wa taala itu menurunkan ayat Al-Quran secara kontekstual. Artinya bahwa ayat itu sangat dekat sekali dengan ayat-ayat yang sifatnya adalah diversitas, bahwa manusia itu satu ummah tetapi memiliki ragam corak begitu. And then the last but not the least, the last reason says that teaching English is not value free, ya begitu. Lah nanti akan disampaikan oleh Prof. Suarse. Nah, proses internalisasi itu bisa dilihat dari berbagai minimal two angles. Dalam konsep Prof. Amin Abdullah itu bisa integrasi, bisa interkoneksi begitu. Kalau dalam konsepnya Rizer sosiolog itu dikatakan integrasi, tetapi Pak Amin bilang bisa integrasi, bisa interkoneksi. Again, that teaching English, especially in the use of method and also in teaching learning process, in the use of instructional technology, itu sekali lagi tidak bebas nilai. Well, to understand deeper concerning was that Islamic wasatiyah value in terms of English teaching, ya kita sudah bersama dengan tokoh kita Ibu Prof. Suarse, ya guru saya sekali lagi. Masalah reputasi sudah luar biasa, tapi mungkin saya akan membacakan sedikit kurikulum dari beliau. Ya, beliau lahir di Sleman, Yogyakarta, 15 Juli 1952. And then so far beliau berada di jurusan Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris, Fakultas Bahasa dan Seni, Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, kampus Karangmalang, Yogyakarta. Telepon officialnya adalah 0274 550 843, pesawat 14. Faksimilenya 0274 548207. Lalu untuk pengalaman jangan ditanya ini ya, jadi sudah melalang buana guru saya ini, jadi dan ini tidak selesai kalau saya bacakan, nanti malah tidak presentasi gitu di dalam maupun di luar negeri, ya, especially in terms of the development in education in Indonesia. Kalau di dalam negeri menjadi asas pendidikan, juga di luar negeri tulisannya sangat banyak. Saya kira Bapak Ibu bisa mengecek di Google Scholar, itu tidak usah saya bacakan. Oke, saya kira itu informasi singkat from me concerning the curriculum vitae from Ibu kita Bu Suarse Madya, MA PhD. Ya, guru saya di UNY. Saya baru selesai tahun 2018, Prof. Suarse. Nah, ini termasuk murid yang tidak tekun saya ini, sehingga lama studi di Yogyakarta begitu. Okay, for simplifying, I will give opportunity for guru kami, ya Bu Suarse, to present for about 30 until 45 minutes more, Bu Suarse, and then will be continued to dialogue, discussion, question and answer after the presentation. Nun sewu Bu Suarse, monggo ya wekdal kagem Ibu.
Saya masih di mute. Oh sudah. Oke, maaf. Sudah bisa share belum ya? Saya diberi akses belum ya?
Nun sewu Mas sudah. Bisa dibantu
Ampun.
untuk share.
Coba mungkin saya dibantu untuk dikasih share.
Bisa share screen.
Baik, makasih. Sebentar saya siapkan dulu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oh my God. Thank you very much. Bapak Ibu semuanya, marilah kita bersyukur pada Allah SWT yang hanya atas izinnya kita bisa bertemu. Jadwal saya sebetulnya sangat ketat sekali, but I'm committed to to my colleagues there in IAIN ya, Salatiga. I am sure you have friends there and every other universities here in Central Java. And it is my honor, in fact, to have this opportunity to share what I know and what I experience, and also what I expect. Okay, that's, I think, it's very important. But hopefully, I will be able to meet the expectations of the committee. My talk will be, in fact, an effort to integrate everything. It's not easy. Okay, so Pak Moderator, I can't remember your name. Sorry.
Can
you tell me your name, Pak Moderator?
Ruandi kalau.
Pak Ruandi, sorry. Being old, I'm forgetful. Yes, sometimes I forget. Many times I forget names, but can't remember the names. Okay. So I would like to put our talk in a bigger context. That is the education in general in Indonesia, in the context of developing our country. Okay, so it's not just for teaching English, because otherwise we will not be able to see the meaningfulness of our effort. And of course, the Islamic values are there, but we can integrate that so that Islamic values are embedded in our life, in fact. So I begin with contextualization of English language teaching, integrated in it the character education, in fact. Now let's see here. I would like to draw your attention to this one here, that in fact, legally, we are mandated to carry out this one, that education means a conscious and well-planned effort in creating a learning environment and learning process. That's what we have to, in fact, to remember, so that the learners will be able to develop their full potential for acquiring spiritual and religious strengths. That is mandated in our law, okay, education law number 2023, 2003, and develop self-control. And the essence of being religious is self-control, right? So we have to control ourselves so that we will be on the right track all the time. Then personality, intelligence, morals, and noble character, and skills. Now that here, the last is very important, that one needs for himself, herself, as an individual needs, and for the community, and the nation, and for the state. You see this legally mandated, but not all teachers read this one before designing the lesson. I think that's what I'm sorry for that. So this will inspire teacher education, how we prepare teachers, we train teachers, we in-service teaching. And of course, this one is the early childhood education, primary education. This is the context of education here. Junior secondary, senior secondary, higher education here. So also these would be inspired by the mandate here, right? But then it's not enough to see that. We also have to think about this one, which is will match with the values promoted by IAIN Salatiga. Here, there's 5 minds in the future. Disciplinary mind. We have to have we have to have some knowledge, right? Like disciplinary knowledge with English teaching, for example. But it's not enough. We have also to learn other disciplines so that we can synthesize from many aspects, like character education, value education. You have also religious education, and you have social education there. Only by that, then you can be creative here. There's creative mind, but it's not enough if you are creative. We are creative. We have so many differences, so we have to respect. To have respectful minds. That's well where the competing values will be moderating by being respectful. Then of course ethical. That is a very religious, right? Ethical here. So this one should inspire the head one. Then of course we all remember learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together. I think what Yayan Salatiga is promoting is so that the graduates, we as citizens can live together with all of differences, like Pak Wandi has said, the differences of religion, cultures, expectation, and background, etc. Okay, there's that. Then this is to achieve this one here. That is the function of education and aim. You can see here. This is what we want our students to develop, and the teachers to help the student develop into this. So healthy, also healthy mind and body, knowledgeable, skillful, creative, independent, democratic, responsible, and here devout citizens of character. So you have the devoutness here is taqwa, taqwa, and iman and taqwa is here, devout. I think everything is here, but unfortunately, not all people, not all teachers remember this all the time. Okay, that's I'm very fanatic in this because I'm really aware that the teaching of English is part of the whole education. So intellectuality and character is being one. This is the frame, the major frame. But I would like to. I don't want to go, in detail in this, but you can see from what I have said. Okay, this is very important. We have to have one discipline, but it's not enough for us. And now the ocean of information from the internet is spoiling us. So I learn a lot from the internet. I'm still learning and learning and learning because it's not enough. So it's that one here. There should be. This later on can be integrated into topics when we teach the English, integrating the competing values. So this is the values here, the context. This core character, what we want to, what Yayan Salatiga is promoting is the core character of Muslims, who can, you can say, you can be in the middle, what is just judges, assessors. Everything should be, that is the character if you want to. But the character is here, starts with a local knowledge, local values, right? Now I have grown up in Jogja, so my core character is Jogja. Then we have national here. Of course, we have Pancasila. Pancasila, I think, is in line with the moderating values. And you have this one as this one is called world values. We have to follow what is the world is going on. But what we have to not to remember is the whole lot is bound is the boundary, the outer boundary is this one, divine values. Do you agree with me, Randy? This divine values is laws of God. That is this will frame everything. That's my view. Whatever religion you have, but if we are Muslim, we have to really frame every aspect with this one. And if that's my understanding, Pak Moderator. Okay. When I study I'm not ahli in religion, but I try to explore the Quran, and I have found out when I studied as my S3 while I'm pursuing my degree, at the same time I explore the Quran. And my conclusion is that to be able to lead the world, we have to be in the middle. You understand? Do you agree with me? So the middle position, yeah, that is the what is the essential teaching of Islam. In fact, you should be there, should be wise, and it has been exemplified by our Rasulullah. That's, you know, he took care of everyone else. No one is marginalized. That's what I understand. Is it true? Is my understanding correct? Yeah. So we have no one should be marginalized. That should be reflected in our teaching and learning. You know, that's the macro framework, but it should color our decision. It should color our action at every level of decision. It is program designing, whether it is in classroom designing, and our treatment in individual students. So because of this one, so in my way of thinking, the divine law should frame everything here. That is the premise, okay? Then another thing what we have to remember here. Sorry, before doing that. This one here, you have our young generation are educated and trained to be true Indonesians. Okay, true Indonesians mean that they are religious. It's not to be American. It's not be that if they are very fluent in English, but and the heart they remember that being Indonesian they have to be religious. So you have this one, but they later on they will plunge themselves into real life in the digital era in a borderless. That I try to put everything in one phrase, you know. Oh, what's it? Oh, I can't read that. How? Oh, so. Okay. The technology. So they will go or plunge themselves into a real life in digital era in a borderless global village in which multi-way interactions are possible among people from various cultures, religions, and interests. That cause tensions and conflicts or competing values. And you can see here, we need solution, you know, we need solution here. And the solution is to enable people to learn together, to live together, to truly coexist with others, okay? To truly coexist with others, mutual respect and mutual help. And of course, this one will be the answer too, you know, this one here. So through this one, through Wasatya values, then being integrated into that, what I mean by this one, I don't specifically only 7 values, but you know, I put into wider and all competing values, okay, will be that. So well-designed EFL instruction, that will be there, okay? This is the framework. So we have to remember this is the solution. What we are searching a solution to help our learners to live together by giving experience in the classroom. Then you have this one here, and we have to put everything in the real context. That in schools they have other subjects, and the activities extracurricular and service learning, pengabdian masyarakat. We have bakti sosial, for example, and the values here should underline all the instruction here to have the intellectually intelligent citizens of character with adequate English proficiency. Look here, I don't put excellent English proficiency, okay, Pak Wadi, because this is impossible for everyone. So I would say adequate English proficiency. So it's in the middle. So most of the students, if some students excel, that's okay. But what we have for all, I think adequate is enough here. Okay, that's also here. So we will embed everything in that one here. Then this is the levels we have to remember. So in micro level values here, pursuing the learning goal, okay, the classroom only. But the meso level here is high level of English proficiency if some of them will go to meso level. But if we are thinking about macro level, we have the humanity obligation. So, you know, it's not just thinking about ourselves, not about Indonesia, but also humanity. But then beyond the world is divine values. So we are aiming at all our action to the eternity as a true destiny. You know, when you read I have written a poem which is colored by this attitude. So in fact, the ultimate goal is this one, okay? Eternity, kehidupan abadi, yeah. So if we always remember this, we will be very serious in designing our lesson, in treating our students, and it's everything will be kind of, that's consistent with my view before, as I have said before. Okay, that's the one here. Now I have found I have identified potential competing values in education. This one here, the worldly material orientation, okay, but at the other end we have spiritual eternity, dunia. This is dunia akhirat. Okay. Should be this. The one will be competing within our students. Then people ask for freedom, forget responsibility. There's competing in that, and people are demanding rights to have the rights, but they forget the duties. Then you have the people are competing for individual assessment. Then they forget their for solidarity. So this is competing, that one. So my framework will be, in our design, we have to have this one here. Look at it. So we have to moderate towards this is the values, Satya values. What Satya values is balancing, balancing, trying to from here up to the middle. This one also up to the middle. That is I hope it's clear that what I think here is that this is the opposite value, not the opposite. This is the competing. I would say the competing values. So everything should be designed to come to this one. So the need for balancing in observing the competing values in education. Let me say, sorry. Observing is not observation, but observing is implementing. Mengamalkan is observing. I would like to say this because many people think that observing is observation, melihat, but observing values means mengamalkan. Okay, that's we have to agree with that. Now this is the macro. That one is macro. Bapak Ibu, this is the macro one. But then we also have in language teaching, we have some competing values between, for example, on the other end is skill getting or pre-communicative, on the grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, but we forget the fluency, the skill using. And that's what I have got from my students, that most of the teachers forget this one, asking the student to use English, for example. Then we also sometimes either quality, accuracy, or fluency or quantity. Either, this my computer is no good. Either, the exercises only, per sentence, and sentences, and forgot the commutative task of fluency. Then you have, you ask the student to check the dictionary all the time. No, you forget that we forget the student need to guess from context. This is just competing values, competing points which I have observed in my life. Then you have here, it's the same way here. We have to balance that. So I like the one essential promotion of the moderating values. It's really good. And my name is also Madhya, means that's moderating. Okay, moderate. That's I practice that. Then when we are choosing the text, okay, the content, the issues for language, because it's not only language, but we have to put the content here, the whole lot here. So we have to balance this one here. Some in writing and speaking, we have to talk about this, the local, national issues. But for reading and listening, we have to have global issues, for example. What about cultures? Indonesian cultures and English cultures should be balanced. And there's an approach now, but it's not the time to talk about that. But there's intercultural language learning now is very popular to bridge this one. Now we also have norm developing and norm dependent. I don't know whether you are familiar with this, but this is norm developing is English world Englishes because of English as international language or English as lingua franca. But then norm dependent is we are fanatic about native speaker speech. So we have to balance this. We cannot have either one. Okay. What about the materials? Some teachers are fanatic about the native speaker speech materials, but we are now encouraged to have homemade materials. So decision here, the decision to balance this, Pak Moderator, is in fact training the students to be moderate people. Okay, so it's not only directly about the values, but all values should be, because there are competing values. So potential competing values in selection here, and this is the guide, so that the teachers will remember this all the time. So this is the need for balancing here in the selection of topic. So if in the MKMP, for example, the workshop can design the topic, but if we decide alone, usually we forget. Okay? So workshops will be needed to carry out this one. Now then, I would like to draw your attention to the one approach which is still here. There's a cognitive language teaching, teaching approach, which in fact has models of teaching like text-based instruction, task-based instruction, you have content-based instruction, and competency-based instruction. So this is the umbrella is cognitive language teaching. So the 10th course Samson will guide us later on in designing that. So number one is emphasizing interaction and meaningful communication. So our class should be colored with that. And of course, later on, interaction can be attached to competing values so that they will behave well in communication. Another one is that the students should have opportunities to negotiate meaning here and expand their language resources. Notice how language is used. So this is a kind of analysis and synthesizing that and taking part in this one. Then number three is the content. The content, I said topic selection. The contents will relevant, purposeful, interesting, and engaging. So that's this will be related to the importance of involving students in selecting the text, not letting them select themselves, but we have to be moderating, right? To be in the middle, the curriculum mandate and the students' interest should be in the middle there. Then you have also it's impossible to have only one skill, but we have to integrate several skills. I think this is natural enough. And a combination of now the inductive discovery learning, then you have analysis, also balance. I like this one, balancing. Then the gradual process here, this one also the balancing between being creative and making trial and error, errors, and concern for accuracy. So being fluency, creativity, and accuracy, always balance there. Otherwise, our student will not learn a lot. Then motivation rate, students are different in their rates of learning, needs, etc. The teacher should stand in the middle so that everyone is given attention. That is also moderating value, So moderating value can go everywhere. Then learning strategies, yes, communication strategies, learning strategies, very formal and informal. And you have the facilitator here. Now look, this is in line with what is mandated in the law, creating a classroom climate conducive to language learning. So, creates this also mentioned in the law, right? And this one is using and use and practice the language and reflection here. So there's also somewhat reasoning here is you have to put everything, attention is there. But the one which is very useful here is community. The classroom is community. That is sharing and collaboration and collaboration. And if you relate to Al-Quran, we are here in the world to know one another, to share, to work together. That is there here. So I think the communicative language teaching, the values are, many of them are inconsistent with consistent with the Islamic values, in fact, if we want to relate that. So in my belief, when we teach English, the niyat is ibadah, there'll be There will be ukhrawi, amal ukhrawi. I don't know whether it's right or not, but that's my belief. Pak moderator can correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
But this is what I, my tenet, my doctrine is that please be niat, niatnya harus ibadah. Okay, there's a community competence. I would like to refresh your mind that there are 6 here, but I would not go into detail, but refresh, because I'm sure that you will you are familiar with all of this. But look at this, the socio-cultural. We have to be, for example, to regard who, to consider who we are speaking to, in what situation, and it's also consideration in that. You have to consider everything. You should be in the middle. So you moderate everything so that you will not marginalize anyone. Okay, there's social cultural value here. But the discourse, of course, the discourse is producing text. But sometimes we, in formulaic, there's also one extreme. In the other extreme, we have to follow. We have to use fixed sentences. We cannot change that, like idioms, But at the other end, we have to be creative. Linguistic competence makes us creative. So creativity and your taat aturan should be combined. It's not just, if we just obey the rule all the time, this will be kaku, but we have to be creative. Now, interactional here is also very Islamic, because we have to consider how do we open our conversation, how we end, how we consider that, how we interrupt without insulting. Everything is very Islamic. That's my view. It's ethically desirable, and of course, strategic is not that one here. So this is the. I would not quote. Yeah, you can see later on in. Let's jump, into, I have very limited time. I'm sorry. Let me jump there. Now, look at here. So everything there in our intention to integrate character values, I would say character values, Pak Moderator, because it's, Islam, Wasatiyah values, in fact, very character, very closely related to Muslim character, right? So the Muslim character, I would say that. So here, the micro strategy in character education as proposed by the Ministry of Education is this one. I have put, what is put into the English teaching. There's teaching learning activities, school culture, the whole life in the school. So in English, we should create a kind of English days and English weeks, English everything, conversation club, etc. So this also, the culture should be colored by English, but the English expression should be selected to shoot the ensealment of the competing values and moderating values. So the same as extracurricular activity, we also have designed to include the values we want them to observe. As this one, of course, is in a family, we have to work together. The teachers have to work together with the parents, so that they will know what values we want them to really observe. So they will understand why the students are involved in some projects, for example. So so far, some schools are already good in communication with the parents, but many schools forget that. So that if there is a correspondence between what the school is doing and the teacher, the support of the parents, it will be much better. So this one should be the whole lot, the micro strategy within the macro strategy. So that one here, that it will attach to national policy. And so how do we instill now? That's the value here. In my assessment, TBI will be good. So if we want to integrate with the competing values, the moderate values, we have here, TBI is emphasis on producing text on controversial values, competing values, so that our students will discuss that and, understanding and producing text and proposing some solution. It's not just understanding, but proposing some solution. Then another is project-based learning, in which the students will use their HOTS, high order thinking skills, in seeing the competing values, you know, when there's a minority, majority, and whether it is whether it's extreme left, extreme right. That is the time that's recommended that. So let's review here. And this is part of the community language teaching. And this is the framework I have, what is that? Developed through research with my colleague. So you have here the TBI, but we have to apply the principled eclecticism. So we have to be flexible, but we have the principle. Our principle will be guided by the Wasatiyah values. You know what I mean? So the values should be there. That is a commitment. Only by that, then we will be consistently, you know, applying that. Oh, if we want to ask, this is the 21st century values. You have collaboration, communication. You have everything is in fact are consistent with the moderating values because it's inclusive here. That here inside. So I would like to say here that the student needs should be assessed. That the needs will be necessities, lacks, and wants. So this is also, Pak Moderator, Bapak Ibu semuanya, necessities a must. Wants is yes, but we have to moderate this one, you know. It's also the attitude, it's also learning how to moderate ourselves. So the attention to the necessities and wants, and between the curriculum mandate of time, available time, and lacks, you know, dealing with also need our attitude, which are moderating attitude within the learners, sorry, within the teachers who design the lesson. This is philosophy. In fact, you know, when we want to be in the middle, we have to, in my opinion, in my experience, I have to train myself to moderate, to be in the middle, you know, during my life, and it's not easy because we have to control our emotion, we have to control our ambition, we have to control, you know, that one. So this is I think very important to remember that. And we have also here the written cycle, spoken cycle. And I think teachers are here familiar. If we want to implement this, in fact, we have to have another workshop, you know, Pak Moderator. But now I put the frame here in the, I show you the way and you can follow up later on, okay? So the strand of spoken cycle here, you have building knowledge of field, supporting viewing and listening, modeling or disconstructing the text. And this is all, but you can put the, you know, the values along the way here in the selecting the topic, remember, and having the input here, explicit teaching, between accuracy, fluency, you know, collaboration between the individual achievement and the solidarity, everything there, and demand. I just show you this. We can see. Then I think I have that. So written and reading and writing. Then another approach is project-based learning. So why project-based learning? This is what I like, in fact. So the values will be instilled here very effectively because the students are making decisions, you know, are making decisions. So they are solving the problems for a project, for the aim of producing, completing the project. So project-based learning is an approach which really built on learning activities, real tasks. They brought challenges for students to solve. You know, this one here. And of course, our problem should be embedded in it, the values which we are aimed at, like moderating, competing values should be here, so that the student will be able to solve the competition between values, not to being extreme there and being extreme here, not being too textual and contextual, not being too generous, not being too stingy, and things like that. And the teachers, the PBL teaches not only content, but also important skills, you know. And here, to function like adults in our society. So, you know, it's very what is consistent with the aim of instilling the moderating values, or you call it moderate values, because in our life we find the extremes are real, yeah, Bapak Ibu. In our life always competition between this and this. Mau beli ini atau belajar, mau ini, the students should be trained in choosing, in decision making because of the competing values. It's very, very. I'm inspired too by your topic. That's one. So I took me a long time to really translate this into here. So the then performed as a here, individual basis, but their participation, and the last one is PPL allows students to reflect upon their own ideas and opinions. This is very important. In learning our religion without any reflection nonsense, just apalan, ya. So in learning the values of our religion, a lot of consideration. That's in my experience. I don't know whether you can learn much faster than me, but I learned very gradually through my experience, when through my study, especially when I'm abroad. It's really I just depended myself that submit to God because I had no one there. It's struggle here, struggle inside. So there's some competing values there here. So that is the PPL is real. Then what about the effectiveness of PPL? I cite here research studies which have evidence here that PPL here can be more effective than traditional instruction in achievement and also the test. That is all people are want to have achievement, but also in here in not only in language but all including in fact social science, including here economics, etc. That is research, and we have to do on language and practical. It's not they have satisfaction, they have something to do in that, and so more sufficible because in integrating the everything that explain the concepts, practical and concepts. Then lower achieving student also will learn a lot here, and of course we are not concerned with high achiever but also low achiever, and improve the student mastery of 21st century skill, that is in critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity, innovation. Is all embedded here, the moderate values, in fact, being creative and also solidarity, innovation, etc. Then the whole school reform is also there, or the whole program reform. This is from research study. Then you have here characteristics. We organize around a problem. Our problem should embed the moderate values. Okay, for example, when you have the rich and the poor, being the individual and the social solidarity, we can color that, and creates a need to know essential content and skill. So we have to really analyze that, and then we have to design the process for reaching the solution of moderating the values. Then of course this one HOTS, yeah, opportunity to examine here. We have to really provide opportunities for students to examine the task from different perspectives. Look here, different perspectives. So this is also need moderate values, and the students work independently, but take responsibility here, freedom and responsibility. Then we have the regularly reflect. That is to really internalize the values, and there are two here: atmosphere, tolerate errors, change, tolerate. There's tolerance here. Then the atmosphere should be there. There's moderation is here, and of course the facilitated and that one. So this is from constructivism. I think all of you are familiar with this. Now then about the selection of topics. So I put here the framework, now receptive and productive. So if we are having reading and listening, we should have foreign matters which include the rivalry or the competing values, like the world, the world issues. But for production, we have to have Indonesian matters, topics, issues, so that they are familiar with that. We have to balance also fluency here, fluency development and accuracy. meaning focus should be balanced here, and these ELT elements, learning the accuracy, even is fluency. So this one is the what is that? Framework of selection topics. Without topics, then there is no content. Okay. Then and in the good character here is a character which has a moderate values. Okay, this is what we have. So we have to take the student or make student ngerti, understand the values, what they're loving the good, you know, knowing the good. You have to discuss that. Why is that? Is knowing the good and feels the good or mengrasake. This is a Ki Hajar, yeah. Then acting until practicing. So we have to be patient because it's not instant. And there are levels, 5 levels of effective learning. This is what has been forgotten by many of us. Then another is this is the framework. That's my guide. I just thought, and now this one here. So we have to list here, Bapak Ibu, spiritual, eternity, material. There's competition here. Freedom and responsibility. All values are here. And if we want to handle, or if we want to instill the moderation of freedom and responsibility, sorry. Oh my God. We have to, to decide what topic here. What is the content? And what is strategies and activities? So we have the workshop. Alone is very difficult, because this is a lot of problem here. So this is the values here. Always the competing values. You can have the accuracy. I integrate into English teaching. Okay, so it's not particular for the 7 values, but English teaching also contain moderate values there. Not only contain, sorry, English teaching also needs moderate values between all of these. Okay, so you have this one, and you have to decide the topic, and we have the strategies here. For example, when we have a right and duties, we can have a story in which 2 people, one is extremely demanding only the rights, hak-haknya, nuntut hak, but forget the responsibility. Another people is just remember duties without thinking about their rights. In wayang, you have the punto dewa, there's, I think, only duties. Then you have the rights is the kurowo, yeah, for example. So you have, this is certain example. What we can create our text, or we can select, text here. But the topic should be this one here. So this is the framework. Then you have a lot of techniques. I just show you here, and you have the control techniques, semi-control techniques, and free techniques. That's to carry out in our classroom. And of course, there's this is the list you can find in Brown Book and list. And there's the design now. The instillment of moderate values is not all at once. No, this is a continuous effort. The whole school, in fact, all life. I think the whole life, in fact. So we have to have this one, designing the integration of character education into EFL instruction, but it's for continuous improvement. I'll show you the design, and then we have to. There's instructional design that is in the topic you have given me. So the instructional design is a planning, creation, refinement, etc. The sequencing. Then this is what I suggest. That is RD model. So we start with analyze, then design. Also here revision. You like revision all the time. That is all going on and on and on. Then develop, implement, analyze. But the evaluation here go here. Sometimes we also evaluate something here. When we are designing, we also evaluative. This one also, so that this I like this one. Is branched by 2009. Then I have given you here. We have we have to do here. I give this one, so you can later on apply in your school. The teachers who are attending here. Of course, this is general, but you can see performance gap means performance in English, for example. So you can put the 20 here 21 points here. The procedures, this common, okay, the common procedures, then put integrate into the TBI. Then you have what I want you to remember. Let's us remember all the time. A statement here is very, very important for us. Good character, meaning that people with the moderate, moderate values, that is the true Muslim, in fact. Good character is more to be praised than outstanding talents. But our teachers today usually praise the outstanding talents only. Jadi favoritnya itu anak-anak yang pintar saja. Okay, so it's no good. But because most talents are to some extent a gift from God. Kalau bakat itu hadiah dari Allah. But good character, by contrast, is not given to us. We have to build it piece by piece, by thought, choice, courage, determination. What does it mean? So in our design of English teaching, you have to have the student practice this bit by bit, thinking, making choice, and brave, be encouraged, take the risk, and determine that what you want to be, for example. The second quote I would try to promote here is that character grows in the soil of experience. So without experiencing, you will not have our student change. What about the fertilization? The fertilization is examples. Okay, so the teacher should give examples. Ingar sosong tulodo, right? The moisture is ambition. Okay, so we have to have ambition to be the better person, to be a useful person, that one. And the sunshine is the satisfaction. So the students should experience all this, the teacher have examples, and also we have ambition altogether, the target, and the students should experience satisfaction. Don't make them stress all the time, satisfaction is praised. And character cannot be purchased, nggak bisa dibeli. Not back and forth, tawar-tawar lah, no, salah ya salah gitu ya. Then inherited is not, and rented cannot be imported from afar. So we have to create our own. Then it must be homegrown in our context. Okay. Then here another, purely intellectual development without commensurate internal character development makes as much sense as putting a high-powered sports car in the hands of a teenager who is high on drugs, meaning that we will have an accident, right? So yet, all often in academic world, that's exactly what we do by not focusing on the character development by young people. So meaning that many English teachers just teach English, okay? That's in our context, without relating the teaching of English to the development of characters. I hope those who are attending here are not included in this, okay? But my observation is that only, but if we relate to character, that will be great. That is the duty of that. That is teaching in English. And I think that's what I want to, I have shared. So I would like to invite the comments or, from the audience. Thank you, Pak Randi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I back to Pak Moderator.
Nggih, matur nuwun Ibu Suarsih. Thank you very much. Give applause to her. Yeah. Well, I think Bu Suarsih has given an awesome presentation, and there are a lot of lessons from the presentations, and perhaps I want to just review, not highlight, review the presentation, the first one, that integrating values, especially in teaching and learning process, is unfinishing process. This means it will go and go on, until perhaps the day of the judgment, sampai hari kiamat. Right. Jadi ini adalah proses yang terus-menerus harus lakukan. So the other is that besides differences, yeah, there are also commonalities, and we should try to what's that? To bridge our differences with others. So they will come what we call commonalities, such as justice and then goodness and then peace and so on and so on. Okay, not to spend a lot of time, I would like to give opportunity to Bapak Ibu to dialogue, perhaps to say experience, to ask questions, to discuss and so on. And then if you want to ask questions, would you raise your hand? Okay. And then those who come from different English department, you may use bahasa, yeah, to say to share our experiences. Silahkan yang dari non-English department mungkin akan menanyakan kepada Ibu. And I think there are a lot of information lesson from her. Yeah. And then one of them is that, unfortunately, some of the teachers so far are not realizing the importance of values, such as religious values, yeah, which should be inserted into the teaching learning process, whether in constructing texts, designing teaching learning process, in the use of media, because so far we need to be wise, yeah, to be smart in the use of Android and so on. Yeah. Well, any confirmation questions, perhaps dialogue, yeah, from the audiences? Yeah, yeah, please.
Excuse me, may I ask?
Okay,
Sure.
mention your institutions, your name, yeah, Ibu. Yeah, please.
Okay. My name is Ima Widyastuti. I'm from Universitas Sarjana Wiyata Taman Siswa, and also I'm the student of a doctorate degree from UNJ. I'd like to ask one question, Ibu Warsi, that's related to the latest slide that you show, that good character is more to be prized than outstanding talents. And then the last sentence, I'm really appreciate for this last sentence. We have to build up piece by piece. And you also mentioned about the choice, challenge, and determinations. My question is that how we connect our choice, our challenge, and determination to our life. That's it. Whether we need to make it as a part of our internal autonomy or our extrinsic or intrinsic motivation around us, or we just leave it as just our life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bu Ima. I would see there are many opportunities or great opportunities for EFL teachers, English teachers, to integrate this into the teaching, in fact. For example, here the piece by piece, okay, so pieces, sorry, here, let me, so piece by piece, meaning gradual, right? So this is a kind of a feeling, accepting that something should be processed bit by bit, and it can be integrated into the teaching of writing, for example, making the students aware that you know, being teliti, you know what I mean, Mbak Ima, if you write a text, then try them to revise, to review, and look at that, you know. So if you want something better, if you want something, you know, high quality, then you have to really spend your time thinking about what you have written and why you have made so much mistake. What should you do later on when you have found out that your writing still mistake, you know. So the students are involved in recursive experiences. Recursive experiences is having the student feel that, wow, harus telaten, harus teliti, harus mengulang, harus, you know what I mean? So learning English is in fact embedded in that is the character building. In fact, you know, students should realize that they cannot jump, they cannot have instant result. That should be internalized. I was lucky when I was student, my teacher reminded us all that. My teacher of English said, kamu tidak bisa kalau ini telaten, harus dari sedikit dan itu harus kamu hayati. That's what he said to me. So I said, iya ya. So this is also character, Mbak Ima. Yeah, this is a character piece by piece. What about this by thought? What should we do after that? Why should we have done? Why should we do that? So I'm thinking. What about choice? Now, in the teaching and learning process, that's what the teacher miss in fact. Topics, for example. So choice here means that the students are trained in making choices. Okay, are trained in making choices. For example, when the students want to be able to be fluent, we show the way. Okay, you want to be fluent? Yes, ma'am. Good. This is the way. So you have to repeat and train yourself, drill yourself. Then the student said, but I don't have time, ma'am. Okay. So you have the choice. You want to have that? You want to improve your English, or you want to watch, to play with your friends? You know, there is choices. You know, so choices of decision making, in fact, or choose the topic, or choose the assignments if they have some alternative assignment, or learning contract. Remember, Bu Ima, when I gave you learning contract, that there is choice, your choice whether you want to have the highest level or the middle or what. There's choices. So making choices can be everyday situation in the classroom. And I practice that when I had a experience in teaching in SMA only 1 year, and long ago, 77. But I practiced that, and the students are okay in the classroom, and they can be free, you know, feel free making choices with just 1 year. Courage can be trained in taking the risk of speaking. Okay, speaking in front of the classroom needs some courage, you know. Gimana ya? So this is also that courage in being responsible. So for example, okay, next week we'll have presentation for every one of you. Then some of shy students will have the opportunity to really build their courage to that. That's also one part of the character. Determination. We have to have the target goal. So that's related to autonomy. Learning autonomy is full of decision making, and the teacher just give decision making. Then what about the teacher? The teacher will be busier, you know, will be busier designing that and writing examples, giving choices, and that one. So character education integrated into language teaching, into any other subjects matter teaching, is very demanding to teachers. Now, the one problem with which I have heard from the teachers is that lack of time. Okay, lack of time. They have to teach 24 hours to be able to get the what you call it, professional allowance, right? So, in my answer is use technology. Okay, so technology will help us in, you know, in designing all of this, so the student will have experience the piece, a gradual process, piece by piece. That is also character building. Okay, so character is built, you know, through practices of thought, thinking, practices of making choices, practices of taking the risk, and practices of having the goal, determining the goal. So that is experiences, and the students should example that. Of course, this is in our life in the classroom. In the family, there are a lot. In fact, you know, you can have a variation of that, but designing that in the classroom will be enough for teachers to give example of that. That is my answer, Bu Ima. Have I answered your question, or you have another question which I haven't answered?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Warsi. That's very inspiring because that's actually a part of my idea in making the paper. And from this point, actually, yeah, that's it. I think I can pick one important thing that actually, in this case, for the beginning, the teacher should take all the opportunity to create or to design the material and all things related to the students' learning, because that's promoting the learning autonomy. Am I right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, okay. Thank you
Now,
so much, bro.
Yes, one more point. When you have limited time to create materials, I would suggest that teachers join the MKMP, and they have the workshops on creating materials, and EIEN Salatiga can lead that, can help the MKMP in creating materials, supervising, and the lecturers in the English department can do that as penelitian, penelitian and PPM, the community service. So if we can work together, the lecturers will have the penelitian in developing the integration of character education into English teaching, and also sharing what they have found through the community service activities, while also researching that will be perfect. Okay, so there is no point of saying, aduh, tapi nggak punya waktu, blah blah blah. So we have to think, because in my understanding, God has given us the intelligence to be used in solving the problems. Okay, guided by the values.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
thank you so much.
All right.
Well, thanks to Bu Ima. There is questions, Ibu Suarse, from students. I think this question is addressed to Ibu and also to our institutions. And then for the first one, perhaps I would like to read. The question says that, which one? Mana tadi kok malah hilang?
In the
How
chat,
can Ingarso ing Tulodo become a basic character and be practiced?
Practice, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I read, or I can read also here, to the extent of which it can be judged to have been applied in the IEN, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it's good. It's a good question. Okay, that's Engar Sosong Tulodo means that if we are, if we are teaching in the classroom, we have to give examples. For example, that's a very good example. We expect our students to be able to speak correctly, accurately, and fluency, right? Appropriately. That's the ideal performance of English. Accurately, fluently, and appropriately. How can we impress our students? In my experience, the teacher's English is in itself a promotion, or can promote the students' motivation. Okay, so if the the teachers of English is very fluent and consider the English also accurate, especially in pronunciation, because pronunciation is very glaring. You can judge an English performance from the first is from pronunciation. For example, that itself, the English itself is an example of the result of learning, which which is done through a very recursive experience. So when I one of my students said to me long ago though, Ibu, in my conclusion, that he said, untuk mencapai tinggi kita harus telaten banget ya, kita harus berjuang banget ya, kita harus what he said, kita harus melupakan main-main juga ya, a lot, that he observed that and he did that. And I said, look, now you have realized that. Are you committed to doing that, or up to you? I said, yeah, I want to reach that. So he learned, my student, only one or two, not many. That particular student is an excellent student, decided to do what he began to believe, that is, managing the time, and that one. This is because he has been inspired by the performance of the lecturer, okay, with a good English, with a good, the attitude, also respecting others, that's by example. Now, when you are leading in the English department, for example, we can expect that, say, for example, as a leader, he or she has to apply the managerial and leadership skills, okay? Not only managerial. Because managerial is, controlling, right? It's not, it's no good. I was once a manager, ya, tapi what I don't like is the managerial skill, it's harus controlling, Nah, amar ma'ruf nahi mungkar. Which one is easier to do? Amar ma'ruf, kan?
Yeah.
But nahi mungkar, oh my God, I usually had conflict inside, Aduh, ini gimana ya, mau ini tapi salah, terus gimana cari dengan anak buah, nanti dendam deh. Okay, so but it's being a leader or being a teacher, also a leader. He or she has to be ready to really carry out what should be carried out in managing, in leading. I prefer to lead now, to through inspiration. Then you will be that. So the leaders should provide examples of whatever expected of students. Now, if not, that's why now you have the so-called stakeholders, right? When you try to evaluate the program, I think the English department program, if you are accredited, you have to have voices from the users, right? From the stakeholders. That is one of the controlling action to make sure that the leaders, of the university, of the faculty, of the jurusan, of the Prodi are practicing what they should do. To quality control, meaning that in fact, when we expect the student to perform high level of English, everyone as the leaders should provide examples. The ketua Prodi bahasa Inggris, ketua jurusan, and if the dean is not from the English department, of course not, but the lecturers. So all the lecturers, of course, all lecturers will be the ketua jurusan. All lecturers should really give examples of how to speak accurately, fluently, and appropriately. Now, what about native speakers? No. It's not necessarily native speaker like, okay? But this is our Indonesian, a bit Indonesian accent. That's okay. But the grammar should be correct, for example. And we have the English, world Englishes now. So we have to speak. We have to practice and practice and practice. So I would suggest that in the English department, English is used for communication in daily life. So it's treated as ESL. And from time to time, the English department should carry out the perform drama, English weeks, and English days. That's the time or the opportunities for all of us give the opportunity to students. Without practicing, Bapak Ibu, a research study by Anita Lee, found out that after 15 years, the teachers will lose their English if they do not practice all the time. Okay, so that's by example, Ibu. Thank you for the question. I hope I have answered that. So you see that one. That's already one example. You can have whether discipline, whether this moderate, whether you can see as stakeholders. If you are students, you are regarded as internal stakeholders, and the alumni should be also, invited to assess whether the leaders have practiced, give examples of the expectation. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, the next, the following questions. Please, more questions. Well, Ibu, to continue From Mbak Rohani, I would like to, I have questions. So I have, at the previous explanations, you have said that actually our regulations or educational law has provided, because the character values have been enclosed over there. The problem is that some of the teachers do not realize. So what should be done in, especially in terms of curriculum constructions and application?
That's good. That's a good question.
Because there must be what we call, we should work in tandem. I mean, between government, between school institutions, and also perhaps all the stakeholders. Perhaps you have a specific formula to so doing. Thank you, Ibu.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I have observed too, Pak Wandi. I have said before that unfortunately teachers never open the law, right? Never read the law. And probably Pak Ketua Jurusan also, you know, just ignore that. So my suggestion is that in my class, I always ask my students to open the law, okay, especially Division of Education and that one here. In my class is instructional technology, you know, and also in methodology. And in ELT, for example, ELT methodology, I relate that to the, you know, to the approach to learning, right? The approach to learning, and the definition of education in the law recommends that the teacher is facilitator, then the students are subject of learning, and the development of all the potentials, and they should not be selfish, you know. So the values are integrated into the teaching. So that is, I'm very fanatic in that, you know, because we are living in a, you know, the country in which the laws guide us in the decision making. So, and for the leaders, the managers, every time you have a project, Bapak, you have to have the legal basis, right? Why don't you really include that into the discussion of, say, for example, when you have curricular changes in the department, you know, we have to have the legal basis. And we have, if this is OBE, outcome-based education, we have to ask what values should be included and what expectation, you know, so what knowledge, what skills, what values, right? So in that particular moment, I usually refer to not only in Undang-Undang Pendidikan, Pak.
Yeah, sure.
I relate to this point. I didn't, but usually I also, but Iman knows that. In my class, I also remind the student to remember the 4 goals of independence. Okay, the 4 goals of independence. Oh, there is a social justice there. There's a 4 there. So, you know, the values will be related to English language teaching, because English language teaching is dealing with humanity in the international community, right? So it's, you know, it's very relevant. So workshops, Bapak, workshops of lectures in relating the lesson with the values mandated in the laws, the legal products. The legal products can start from the Undang-Undang Dasar, and you have to go down into Undang-Undang Pendidikan, okay? Then Undang-Undang Guru, right? You are teaching, you are educating teachers, right? In Salatiga, do you have a PBI, Pak?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Undang-Undang Guru dan Dosen. You also have the Permendikbud. You have the if you are in, for example, in Jawa Tengah, you have the Pergub, for example. All the products, and including the Peraturan Rektor. So all should be consistent. So you know, there is no contradictory there. Or because you are in EIN, yeah, you probably is Permendikmat, apa namanya? Menteri Agama, Permenak, sorry. very easy, very difficult. Permenak, for example, and Peraturan Rektor, and etc. etc. Okay, so workshops, that is very important. Even just reading, and then what values, what message, what mandates can we get from all of these legal products. and how can we integrate into our program? The level is curriculum, and you have the instruction. This cannot be, it cannot be done alone, but impossible. It's it's too heavy. So we need to discuss and to have consideration, to have that. And after that, we have to design the assessment. How can we know that this is implemented? So you devise the checklist, for example, for checking that monitoring sheet. And I myself have done that for my courses, but you can ask Mbak Ima here. I provided the guide, the checklist, the assessment, everything there. Otherwise, we will forget, because we are only human being. Okay? So workshop and collaboration. Do not work alone. No, it's impossible. It's just too much for us. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, sure. So it should be, what's that? It should be a landscape for working together, for example, between the pre-surface and then in-surface and post-surface.
Yes, that's
right.
But
what do you think about the three institutions in pre-surface? Perhaps it's okay, such as what is done by Ibu in teaching learning process, but sometimes in surface institutions, some teachers argue that we have a limited time. We have a curriculum target. So sometimes it is difficult to enclose what's with character values.
All right. Okay. That's what I mean by
solution.
Okay. What I mean by moderating? Okay. Now, when you think about value separately, of course, it's impossible, right?
Yeah.
But in my book, I analyze how we can integrate that. In fact, how we take values from English. So from the text, for example, the text can contain values. We can discuss that during reading comprehension. Okay. Then during the learning of grammar, for example, there is a value of obeying the rules of grammar. So we try to remind the student, look, if you obey the rules of grammar, you apply the rule of grammar in your sentences, it is not for me, as your teachers know, it's for you, so that your sentences can be understood by other people, so that you can communicate without any misunderstanding. Okay, that's also that one. So we have to just highlight that in our language learning, already there are a lot of values, Papa.
Yeah.
For example, when you are discussing something, I have to limited time to present this one. In a discussion, Baba, some students tend to dominate, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Look, this is a phenomenon, a real phenomenon, without being created. You can
so
find
others just keep silent, you mean?
Some others are keep silent. No. When I was still teaching, language skills, I tried too hard to really solve my problem. So look, some students are really silent, and some are dominating. So I create a rule, please. One is my first rule is, if I group the student, if I put the student to group, I will spread the dominating people, and I have him or her make sure that everyone in the group speaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the dominating person has the leader of that group, but the duty is to invite everyone to speak. That's my rule at that time, and I give you a point. So for you're already good, but the point now is how successful you will be in inviting everyone to speak. Oh yes, Pooh. So you will not be dominating, right? That's
sure.
it.
Yeah.
So you integrate the values into the real teaching. This without adding adding another burden. No, we just explore what. And for example, if we want to to instill the obedience to the law, okay, like to the rules and to the law, wearing helmet, okay, wearing helmet when we are riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So I had a text in telling us the what is that accident. Okay, so in the text there's a accident involving student who had a gegar otak, lupa saya namanya, gegar otak ya, because he didn't wear helmet and he was unconscious for how many days, you know. So the end of the story, the boy the boy's life cannot be saved. Okay, so from that I think the rule I make use of that text in selling the importance of obeying the rule of wearing helmet. Okay, but I don't tell. I said, what do you think about this, the boy, why the boy, you know, had accident, and why, you know, he finally lost the brain, something like that. And he said, kenapa ya Bu? Yeah, think about that. And one of the clever students said, Ibu, he didn't wear the helmet. Oh, really? Yes. Okay. Then they try out to find why, you know, why helmet is important, why and why and why, and there's this discussion. And finally, they conclude that, wow, so wearing helmet is not for the police. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
But for us. So, you know, that came out, that character education came out from reading comprehension. Okay. So the result of the impact of that negligence there, kelalaian, is the person himself, right? It's not the police, it's not the teacher, it's not the parents. So they said, oh, then you know what happened in the class? Because most of the students, when they wore at that time, when they wore helmet, itu nggak ditalikan di sini, Pak. Okay, then they said, iya ya. What about you? I said, iya Bu, selama ini maaf, saya hanya demi polisi, hanya saya cantelkan, hanya, oh now, okay, now please think carefully. So, you know, the teacher should not teach character separately, you know. So dig out from that. When they are writing, I ask the student to, for example, to revise, and that one, I integrate that. There is what is value of being teliti and commitment to quality, and what is telaten, teliti, and gigih. Okay, so perseverance in reaching the goal, that is embedded in the production of text, and in the problem-based learning or project-based learning, they will be committed to finish the project within a limited time. So time management, commitment, cooperation, collaboration is there, and also open-mindedness and being disciplined, because they have to apply some knowledge, you know, and explorative, and finally, you know, the quality is the end of that, quality assurance. Okay, that's the way. So I don't think the teachers have difficulty if they understand how, and collaboration, Bapak. So I suggest that through MKMP, if I don't know whether the madrasah and MTS, you have MPMP. Do you have MPMP, Pak?
Yeah, collaborate between public and
I don't know the whatever forum, but through the forum, the teachers can work together in finding the text. You know, don't just follow the textbook. Oh, it's very funny. So the teachers should find their own text, and if you find from internet, then you exchange. If you have 200 teachers or 100 teachers, each teacher has to find 10 different texts. Then you already have 1,000 texts, right? Each teacher, for example, if you from the internet, you can find, you call it exercises of vocabulary, exercises of so you do not need to create new exercises. Just find from the internet. And the 100 teachers here also, look, you will find exercises in you know, about vocabulary. Other teachers of grammar, other teachers will be writing, other teachers techniques of speaking. You know, all they work and exchange. Wow, it's you know, will be resourceful. Unfortunately, this collaboration has not happened. Okay, I give you an example. When I was when I was young, when I was a young lecturer, we didn't have any, enough money to buy books, right? Because the books must be bought from abroad. So what did I do? So I exchanged, sebetulnya nyolong juga ya, ngopi dari aslinya itu nggak boleh toh, tapi nyolong nggak apa-apa lah. So I copy my books and exchange with lecturers from different cities, So I have example, and I suggested my class at the time to subscribe Jakarta Post. Jakarta Post itu mahal kalau sendirian, saya bilang. Why don't you the class itu urunan? Jadi hari ini yang bayar siapa, hari ini that happen, that's okay, no problem. So collaboration is a real need, and collaboration is recommended in Islam. Okay, so that berlomba-lomba dalam kebaikan, bekerja sama dalam kebaikan, tapi jangan bekerja sama dalam cheating the exam. Kan ada toh national exam itu ngirim kunci jawaban itu dosanya dosa jariah itu. I think so collaboration should be ini ya, kan itu ayatnya ada semua itu. Saya nggak mau yang bahasa Arab nanti diketawain ya kalau tapi isinya itu berlomba-lomba dalam kebaikan, berlomba bekerja sama untuk meraih kebaikan, itu saya kira ininya ya. So it's time for teachers who are in madrasah to really establish that cooperation, and EIN Salatiga can lead, Mbak. Jadi there's a lot of opportunities for you to do a lot in improving that one. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, thank you. It's awesome, I think. And there is a recommendations when there are a lot of text available. We should not taken for granted. I mean that we need to consider whether the text is suitable for students in terms of character buildings or not. So especially in MGMP, we need to select whether the one is perfect or not. Okay, the following perhaps the next questions from Bapak Ibu. Yeah, please raise your hand, or perhaps you might write in the chat, please.
There's one person raising hand here.
Okay. The next one. TBI. Okay. Please mention name, Bapak.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Ruswandi and the moderators. I think you are successful to lead all the participants to have a chance to ask questions from the presenters. Thank you very much, Professor Swarse. Let me introduce myself. I am Susanto from English Education Department, Universitas Islam Negeri Said Ali Rahmatullah Tulungagung.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Actually, some of my questions have been answered by Professor Warse in terms of how to integrate the values here, Islamic values in curriculum. Practically, if we do that, actually, we have an experience. We have an experience actually in the process of accreditation. That sometimes or usually the assessor suggests us as for example, the chief of English education or maybe the dean, that the curriculum should have future orientation. A future orientation it is intended to facilitate the students to be successful, I think, in learning based on the measures of learning, whether in English or in other departments. That's why I think I don't know whether it become hard burden for a university, I think, or for English education itself, whenever they try to integrate the curriculum here with integrating the values of other values outside of what is English proficiency. However, Professor has what is explained, and maybe there is something from another side that you can give in answering my question here. Then the next, yes, practically, if we talk about teaching English, we cannot ignore ourselves from the concept of the standard or the proficiency we are going to achieve. Usually, all people or our teacher mentioned that the standard here must be a native-like speaker proficiency. This is standard. And when our students are forced, not forced actually, are given another contents to implement the values, other values outside of English here, what do you think, whether it is become a real burden or not? Because in fact, learning English itself needs sufficient time to practice and so on, as you mentioned before.
Right.
And then the next one, I'm interested in one of your term in dealing with the values here, mentioning about ambition. Here. Yes, sometimes that's good, but yeah, I try from reading some literary work, for example, King Lear, and then we try to Oedipus the King. Yeah, they belong to tragedy drama because of the characters have excessive ambition. Excessive ambition.
Yeah, right.
Yes, good. And then in Indonesian context, we have a Sandiwara, for example, in Rakuti, and also Ken Arok. Yeah, later the life is not in good happy ending, but it's sad ending. Yeah, because of excessive ambition itself. That's why maybe this is we have to be wise in guiding our student to have this kind of ambition. Okay, thank you, Professor, and thank you, Moderator, Pak Ruswan. Thank you very much.
Susanto, thank you very much.
Can I answer now, Pak Manti?
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Pak Santa. It's an insightful questions, and there are, I think, some points here which are really useful and very important, meaningful to us. First is standard. Now, I think we grew up in the near native standard, right? Well, my teacher was very strict. One grammatical mistake -3, you know, at that time, really very strict. But the result, yes, I think I have got some comments from British people that my English is not bad. My English is good because of that. But however, the reality now that in the internet, in the YouTube, our students are exposed to different Englishes, right? And it's there, you know, American English, you have the Australian, Singaporean English, and all. So if we want to them to reach the native-like standard, that's what we want to do, is to expose them to native-like standard. Okay, exposure. Now, if our teachers have noticed that, the lecturers, for example, let's grow together. You know what I mean, Papa? Grow together. And the lecturers should confess, you know, let's grow together using storytelling, you know, available in the website, using a speech to listen to imitate, you know, let's all of the materials inspire us, and giving the examples of how to pronounce that. Let's check if we are doubtful. For example, the lecturer also check in the electronic dictionary by listening. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm wrong. So let's now, if you happen to know the pronunciation, for example, that's the question is, do you have any time for that? Yeah, if you have time, that's perfect. If not, technology. But we have to control, we have to have a kind of system. For example, let's practice all native, you know, try to be near native, correct in pronunciation, especially stress, sound production. Probably intonation will never be, but sound production, and also the stress imitating that and checking that through English days, through English weeks, English competition, etc. Wall magazines, Bapak, untuk writing, okay, and also the YouTube for presenting the students' drama performance, okay. So I think it can be, because in my time when I was a student, I was involved in performing drama and trying to poetry reading, and in reading, in fluency development, I was involved in the so-called extensive reading, in which we had to read the abridged stories, but 1 week about 6 books, So, I agree with you that literature is one of the, the ways to expose students to English and natural English and, entertaining English. So I read a lot of literature when I was a student. I learned a lot from the expression there. And this one is about language. What about the values? I learned from my Indian colleague. In India, the values are instilled through Mahabharata, the story, there's tragedy, there's that one. The same if you have tragedy here, whether Shakespeare, whether Monte Cristo, whether Macbeth, that one. So you try to involve students to, analyze the values and what does it imply? Which values you prefer? Which event you prefer? This is the result. If the values that, like ambition, the excessive ambition, lead to destruction, right? So let them choose whether they will have excessive ambition or they will control. That's moderated into something that. Let them think about that. There is no need if we give a kind of imposing ideas, but character development is decision making. So the Indian way of enseigning characters, because I asked when I met a professor in Jawaharlal Nehru University, 2012. I was there for 3 days in attending as the speaker and then visiting the professor. He said that by exposing students to stories, whether tragedy or the happy ending, the teacher asked, which characters you identify, which character you like, which thing you want to practice, why? Then the students are thinking and they choose, and the teacher then, okay, if you have chosen that, let's learn how to do it, how to practice that in our school, not only in the life, because in the school, okay. So using the literary works can be the good means in instilling that and in discussing about that. Then I'm interested in reaching native. I don't know whether Baba has visited the website called manythings.org. Have you, Pak Santa?
Not yet, Professor.
Oh, okay. There's a website which presents storytelling. The storyteller is from Voice of America. So it's really good, it's, wow, I like that because the way to read the stories is an artist, So you can involve your students in accessing that, and it's for free, Listen to the storytelling. I'm sure their pronunciation will improve. Okay, so from that, so using technology again, hopefully their standard will improve, and not only them, the lecturer standard will also improve and maintain, not losing like what Anita has found. Without practicing, we will lose our English. Okay, thank you for your insight question. I hope I have answered that.
Okay, Pak Sus, is it sufficient? Or perhaps there is still questions from you?
No, I think that's enough. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, somebody else perhaps they'll have questions, have specific experiences to be shared here. Okay, some more questions? On, there is a chat from From Mbak Lili Kusuma, Ibu. Yeah, from Macquarie University.
Character values. Okay. All right. Okay, it's a good question. In fact, should character values, Islamic value, be presented in English? Yes. Well, it's a good question. As I have said before, in fact, character values are universal values.
Sure,
Okay?
yeah.
That's my belief. Justice is not only found in Islam, right?
Sure.
And
Okay.
being fair, being inclusive, being tolerant, they are all in our daily life. But when we, for example, we have to be tolerant. If you are teaching the students from the Islamic schools, you can have the students find the hadith which contain that values, but then you also match them with the tolerance exposed in the text, English text. So we are not teaching character separately, like today now our topic is character. No, it's not. So being implicit, I suggest that character values are taught implicitly and through examples, if we, for example, Islamic, one of the Islamic values is being tolerant, right? Being understanding of the students. Look, when Rasulullah asked question, what is Islam? Don't deceive, okay? What is Islam? Don't be angry, right? Because the person who asks question is easily angry, right? So, this implies that as a teacher, we have to understand our students, okay? We have to really understand that our students are different. We should not apply the same standard for all students. Some students are still very beginning and still shy, still embarrassed, still anxious, This need encouragement. But some of the students are dominating. So I have given you an example of how to mix that. So, you can, that's it, the importance of designing that. So once I ask my student to find out in their, religions, the teaching of, the importance of learning, okay? The importance of learning. Then all of them find, I said, from the Holy Quran or the Bible, if you are a Christian, and from the Hadith, I said, they find a lot, that ada yang belajar itu kewajiban, macam-macam, a lot, So by doing that, in fact, we have integrated that. So and along the way, in all the texts about life, there are a lot of values there, and we can relate that. So we as teachers also should be familiar with the Hadith and Al-Quran, so that if we read, for example, Tadarus, we look at the, I cannot, I don't speak Arabic, but I usually rely on the terjemahan, Pak Wandi. So I cannot, I don't know a lot about Quran. So I usually, and then relate that into values I have listed in the book. So, that is all. So without mentioning that it is from, for example, it's already there. But if you want to be explicit, you can have homework. Anak-anak coba yang ini, cari ada nggak di dalam Al-Quran, ada nggak di dalam hadis, So usually done after the class and as their homework, and they can discuss later on in the classroom. And you can also ask the student to find text containing that, the values, and discuss that. A lot, in fact, can be that. And in for example, in a discussion, okay, I will ask you a question. Respecting other people, is it a value in Islam or not? Pak Wandi, respecting other people.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
In the discussion, when I speak, everyone else should respect. Therefore, no bisik-bisik lah. No gadget, for example. Islamic values itu saya sudah banyak sekali justru di negara barat banyak dipraktekkan, Pak. Okay? Listening to others, respecting others' opinion, and that is in my experience in international communities. So I was so grateful. I'm grateful that I have a chance to visit 35 countries. So everywhere I can find that values, Islamic values are there. Not Islam, not being Muslim, yeah, but Islamic values. Why? The answer is simple, because the values come from God, and God is just. Tuhan itu adil. Dan mereka yang non Muslim kan itu makhluknya juga kan, So inspired by that, so you can see everywhere. You can also have evils. Yang evil juga tidak hanya untuk yang ini, yang Muslim juga banyak yang evil kan. Prakteknya, I mean the people. So the values are there and we have to make them aware. Itu aja. Jadi membuat kita semuanya aware of the values, of being explicit, discuss. So you remember my triangle. So all of us know the good, apa sih baiknya, mengapa itu dia katakan baik. Then we try to internalize, iya ya, kalau nggak begini akibatnya ini. Kalau misalnya itu tidak dipraktekkan, bagian ini. Then that internalization. And we act out. So by asking, for example, what activities you have done contain these values, intentionally or unintentionally? So there's a lot of discussion there. I hope you can really practice that bit by bit, please. You cannot jump. Bit by bit, changing that. I remember when one day I helped my student stay in my house because he need that. He is an atheist, you know what I mean. So every day we discuss a lot. I try to instill the religious value, the iman, yeah, but I failed at the time, because he said, Ibu, aku heran loh, Ibu, kenapa sih percaya ada Tuhan? Oh my God. So can you answer that? Is the value of being iman? And I said, gimana ya? Percaya sih, karena kalau nggak ada yang cipta siapa? Nah buktinya apa? Nah kalau saya buktinya ya ini ada alam ini. Oh saya nggak ngerti. It's not easy. Sure. And he also said, saya juga heran kenapa ya Pak Habibie juga percaya. Nah sekarang harusnya you itu tanya, kok kamu bisa nggak percaya padahal yang pintar-pintar aja percaya, saya bilang. Ya juga sih. Let me think, katanya. Nah, that is the example of value is something is not easy to be internalized, but needs a process. I don't know whether finally he believe in God or not, but days and after days we discussed that, and it's oh my God. Then finally I said, iya ya, hidayah itu hanya milik Allah. Finally I said that because it's there's religious values. Okay, so please integrate the values, not by having separate topic, no, but you explore the text and identify the values, character values there. Okay. In the activities, you can find the character values in the learning activities, in the performance, the student performance, and in the text. In the learning activities, for example, the value of perseverance. Jadi anak yang salah terus itu dilatih supaya lebih ini, misalnya the difference between now and no. Now and no. Open the mouth, please. Now, no. Now, no. This is a kind of kegigihan, right? And it's needed in building our iman, in fact, gigih ya, dalam menghadapi kesulitan dalam hidup. Okay. Thank you for the question there. I hope I have answered the question. Ooh, what is that? Is there no question for Milia? Oh, Macquarie University. So that's the same alumni. I graduated from that university, in fact. Okay. Is there any other question, Pa?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, Prof. Sumarse.
I'm
Sri Wahyuningsih.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, Prof. Sumarse. I'm Sri Wahyuningsih from EIN Kudus.
All right.
Okay. Yes.
So
I
you
think
know
this is a
Mbak
very
Endang, yeah? You say Endang? Endang, do you know Mbak Endang, who just passed away? Yayan Kudus, is it?
Endang, I don't know. Yeah,
Oh, all
and
right.
Kudus. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Talking about Islamic moderation is a very interesting topics. Okay, but some colleagues or my friends share us about what is it, how to integrate it in schools, especially for students in vocational schools, and they had difficulties integrating that. Knowing that it is a public school, not an Islamic school, maybe it's not
Okay.
too. Yes, it's not too difficult if we integrate it in Islamic context. For example, in Tadris English
All right,
or
okay.
in Islamic schools, but the context is in vocational
All right.
schools. So, yeah, okay. And they ask me, or yes, and I ask you, how to integrate the Islamic moderation values in vocational
Okay.
schools that
All
mostly
right.
the students are men. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I have said before that in fact, Islamic values are there in the world everywhere, okay? Without saying Islamic values, the values are there. Justice, for example. If I'm talking about with American people, I never said this is an Islamic value, but it's a justice. In my mind, this is also part of the Islamic values. So use the common terms, but in fact you are including the values. So for example, tolerance. Tolerance doesn't belong only to, or it's not only recognized by Islamic people, right, or Muslim people, but tolerance can be recognized or can be regarded important by many people in the world. So if we promote tolerance in vocational schools, for example, in vocational school, you have some students, you are very skillful, right? Very skillful. Some of the students very slow, okay? Some of the students still noisy, okay? Then discuss that. Look, if the students, the skillful students are only thinking about themselves, then what is the point? And you can ask, that's what I, when I still taught the skill, I ask, mau berbuat baik nggak? Mau apa namanya? Seize the opportunity to share and to really show your existence or not. Nah, so I try to use the standing of the person. So saya tidak nganu ya, tapi your existence to be stronger. And he said, yeah, of course, ma'am. Good. If you want to be recognized as a strong person, show to your weak people that you can help them. You know what I mean? And said, what do you mean, Ibu? What do you mean? Oh, no, don't worry. No, it's not. But let me ask you the question first. Do you want to be recognized as a strong person, as a, able person? Yes, of course. Okay. Share your knowledge with the weak people, so that, that is sharing as a. Oh, okay. Reluctantly, this boy moved, but after that, he appreciate the experience because the weak student really thank him, Aduh, makasih ya Mas, baik banget dan Mas ini. Aku jadi tahu yang ini. Okay, so he then became more confident that iya ya, oh berarti sharing itu saya tidak tambah bodoh ya, ternyata tambah pinter. Some students are worried if they are, apa namanya, rivalry, But after this boy experienced that after helping the weak students here respect him and very kind and praise, and he was satisfied too. So remember my slide. Then there's also what is the fertilizer? Is understand satisfaction. So you see, students sometimes need to be plunged into a situation in which they are experiencing something, experiencing the challenge, and if they share, they will not lose anything, but they get something back, like recognition of his position, reward, our social reward, etc. And this particular boy was later on become more sociable, not only tolerant, you know, but understanding, and wow, this then became my partner at that time, my assistant. Yeah, to be the assistant, you know, because of that. Okay, have I answered your question? So not necessarily Islamic values, no, but we try to you know, to identify the values and implant in that, and you have to start with the values which are relevant to the vocation. Okay, vocation. Yeah, like technicality needs discipline, right? Then you discuss with student. Coba anak-anak, kalau elektrik, ya listrik, kita harus taat nggak? Kalau itu jeder gitu kan, that is the law, ya. So that's the rule. Jadi kita biasa mentaati, kalau nggak boleh digadok, ya jangan digadok, nanti konslet misalnya. Then what else? A lot of things. Computer, for example. Coba, mengapa komputer itu harus dimatikan, kalau ini harus harus di. Mengapa kalau charging itu? Nah, coba dilihat. That is value, Ibu. Value of what is obeying the rules, the law, scientific law, technical law. So you can integrate without saying that you are teaching values. You are teaching value. Okay, so that's integration. I think you know, if the workshops, you know, workshop of teachers, I would like to convince the teachers that probably they have done the character education, but they do not realize that. Okay, you have done a lot, but you don't realize that because you do not have label, but you have done that. You know? Do you think you have done a lot of character education? In fact,
yes. Actually, we have done that.
Yeah, you don't label that, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, reminding your student to obey the rules, to be disciplined, to be diligent, you know, and giving feedback. That is all character, you know, character values.
Yes.
Thank you, Ibu.
Okay, Ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Pak Wandi, back to you.
Thank you very much, Ibu. And I think there are still perhaps some questions, but I think it is not wise to continue now. So Ibu sudah capek. So I just want to give was that a little bit summary here that actually our regulation, especially educational regulations, has provided several values. Yeah, and then the values are universal. I mean, this is not restricted into or in Islamic tradition, but also in Christianity, in Buddhism, in Hinduism. Yeah, so I think planting character values, or perhaps such as some of the examples is tolerance, justice, peace, and so on, are not only the responsibility of Muslims, but also for others. But here, because we have a normative regulation, especially in Quran and Hadith, Muslim must be the pioneers to do so. Yeah, and I think it is important based upon the missions why Islam or Prophet Muhammad is sent into the world as rahmatan lil alamin, not only rahmatan lil muslimin, but rahmatan lil alamin. And also the last, I think, and I have said before, that this is unfinishing and continuing processes. So we could not to give up for planting the values into our students. And Ibu Suarsi have said there are many ways, and as a teachers, one of the ways can be included in designing teaching and learning process in the classroom. Well, I think that's all, and again, give applause to Ibu Suarsi. Thank you very much, Ibu.
Thank you.
Have given an awesome explanation, especially in the terms of planning and also practicing values in teaching English, whether in a method or in the use of technology. Well, again, thank you very much for you all. Yeah, Ibu Suarsi as the keynote speaker, and also for all participants who have joined an interdisciplinary colloquium held by English Department of the postgraduate program of IAIN Salatiga. Now we come to the closing statement from the Deputy of Director of postgraduate program of IAIN Salatiga. The time for Ibu Nurmaliha PhD. Are you available here, Ibu Nur? Okay,
yes,
thank you.
Pak Ruandi, I'm here.
Time is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, this is a very interesting discussion and a very interesting thing to do knowledge shopping with Prof. Suwarse. I become one of your fan now, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, beliau is very enthusiastic and clear, yeah, in giving real examples how Islamic value is internalized in language teaching. So we shouldn't separate the two things, yeah, between teaching the Islamic values itself, but it should be internalized and it should be implicitly done. And I'm sure that this will be very important for us, Prof, especially to the students. For example, when we give the student the assignment, yeah, mostly atau many times they just copy paste the thing. It means being dishonest. That is why now we have something like similarity check. Yeah, this is to check whether the students are honest or not in working with the assignment. And this is actually, yeah, the implementations of teaching Islamic values. But both of us, probably the teachers and also the student, they do not realize that this is a kind of Islamic values implementation. So please, yeah, students, don't do that again. Not only the students, but also all of us here. Well, Prof. Suwarse, so I think we get so many important and benefits from this lecture, from this interdisciplinary colloquium, yeah, because you also give us some insight about how to get storytelling via VOA, and also that is VOA for the English, for the American English. For Story Nori website, there is also interesting for British pronunciation that we can teach, yeah, that we can listen, we can practice, and then ask the student to listen to this. And I wonder if one day, among us probably, we can create a website, yeah, something like storytelling in VOA, in Story Nori, but it's about the Indonesian thing,
yeah,
something like, yeah, folklores or whatever. So everybody will know how is the Indonesian people actually, yeah.
You have to translate first, Ibu. You have to translate first, translate the Indonesian folklores into English.
Yes, it is. And I think Prof. Budiono has already started this with some lectures in Jawaharlal Nehru by translating into both languages. Well, I think it is not wise for me to talk too much in this occasion, but the thing is, teaching Islamic value does not mean to make them Muslim, but this is how to let them which one is good and which one is not, and yeah, all of us then become a good people. And on behalf of program Pasca Sarjana IAIN Salatiga, I thank you for, especially to Prof. Suwarse, for the knowledge sharing and for the knowledge shopping we did. And also thank you to all the audiences who has already here until the end of this time. And I apologize for any inconvenience that might appear during this session. So once again, let's give applause to Prof. Suwarse and all the audiences.
Thank you.
Yeah, and officially I close this session by reciting Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillah. And I think I will try to follow all your next lecture, Prof. Suwarse. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
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 Thank you, Bu Normali PhD, as the Deputy of Director of Postgraduate Program of UIN Salatiga. Again, thank you very much, Ibu Suarse. Perhaps someday
My pleasure.
we still, what's that? Yeah, invite you to any kinds of activities here, especially to improve our department, because we are still new program here in English, the second year. Yeah, and also thank you for all participants. But before closing, the one thing which is important taken from Ibu Suarsi says that sometimes we are not exactly proud of Islamic values, but others practice this every day. Sometimes like that. Okay, thank you very much, and I apologize if in mastering this program there are a lot of mistakes. Yeah, they come from me. Yeah, and the perfectness only comes from God, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Thank you very much for your participation and also attention. Ya, let's see. Ya, walafu minkum. Hadanallahu wa iyyakum ajmain. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sampai
Ibu,
jumpa Bapak
sampai
Ibu.
ketemu
Thank
lagi.
you, Suarsi.
Matur nuwun, matur nuwun.
Antar suwun, Bapak Ibu semuanya.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Mengingatkan itu presensi sudah ada di les ya. Nanti insya Allah sertifikat akan di-send ke nomor email Bapak Ibu semuanya. Matur nuwun.